As head coach at Seattle, looking to protect his quarterback better today. Matt Hasselbeck sacked 7 times in the loss last week, and there's John Gruden at 38, still the youngest head coach in the NFL. Got the job when he was just 34 and had a division championship team last year. Seahawks kick off. Ryan Lundell boots it down the field, and here is David Dunn of the Raiders. Blocking pattern forms, and Dunn's across the 20, and then good special teams play by the Hawks takes him down at the 22-yard line. Isaiah Kazavinsky, the former Harvard captain, makes the stop as we look at Rich Gannon out to quarterback the Raiders. Now in his 14th year out of Delaware. One of the best quarterbacks in the league last season. Very tough, particularly accurate when he's on the run. The leader of this team, he's 18-6 over his last 24 starts. Raiders break the huddle without their great center, Barrett Robbins, who was out for the rest of the season with a knee injury suffered last week. So they have True in at center. First and 10 Raiders. Gannon comes out firing, makes a connection to tight end. That's Roland Williams, number 86, who's quickly taken down by cornerback Willie Williams and Anthony Simmons. We look at the blocking front now for the Oakland Raiders. Sims, Wisniewski, Adam True at center, Mo Collins, and huge Lincoln Kennedy. In the backfield, Ty Wheatley's the main runner. Richie, a good blocker and receiver. Tim Brown and Jerry Weiss, great wide receivers, and Roland Williams, the new acquisition this year, at tight end. Second down and 3. Gannon gets time, looking deep. And now sidearms the ball as only he can so well, and he gets it out to Charlie Garner. Another new acquisition and an excellent receiver out of the backfield, and it's a first down for the Raiders as we look at the Seahawks on defense. It's been restructured. Sinclair and King the ends. Chad Eaton and John Randall are new at tackle, veteran players. They've been brought in as free agents. So has Levon Kirkland, the former Steeler, at middle linebacker with Simmons and Brown, two very good outside backers. Ken Lucas, a rookie, starts at cornerback. Willie Williams is back in the lineup. He's been out with a fractured arm. And the safeties are Tong and the newly acquired Marcus Robertson. Raiders going into different alignments now. And Gannon, Steve, sees something he doesn't like.
Well, one of the things they're doing early on is shifting and going in motion a lot. And that's trying to get that done, caused them to be late on the play clock.
Oakland, where it could be probably in the low 90s on the playing field.
Right there's Charlie Garner. You see how he moves way out to the sideline. His flexibility and his versatility has given him a new weapon in this offense this year.
He's been terrific so far, particularly catching the ball as the Raiders try power football as Garner runs the ball.
One of the things about Charlie Garner, Don, is at the end of last year, even though they went to the championship game, they felt they needed some more things to do in their offense. Somebody that wouldn't let people key on their personnel. Charlie Garner can do everything you want a back to do, including, like you see here at the top of your screen, he can split out wide as a wide receiver.
Well, he had almost 2,400 yards over the last 2 years at San Francisco before coming to the Raiders. Second down and 5. And it is incomplete, and that'll make it 3rd and 5 as he was going to Tim Brown. And now we take a look at the task at hand.
Well, it's very simple. For the Seattle Seahawks, it's obvious. They haven't scored an offensive touchdown all year. They've got to wake up on offense. And number 2, they've got to play better at their cornerbacks on defense. And for the Raiders, they need to take advantage of those cornerbacks and take it outside with the wide receivers. And they've got to make sure Matt Hasselbeck doesn't break out and have his first good game as a pro against the Oakland Raiders here today.
Well, he had a tough game last week, but I've seen him, although it was in the preseason, play great football when he was at Green Bay. Here is Gannon stepping into the pocket, sidearms the ball downfield. It's not close. And the Seahawk defense holds on this opening drive after the Raiders do get 1 first down.
One thing that's given the Seahawk defense, or that's been working for the Seahawk defense against this Raiders club, is their inability to stop the run has what's dictated the game. And now, with the 3 new guys on defense, Chad Eaton, John Randall, and Levon Kirkland, their run defense has gotten to a point where now the Raiders are going to have to throw the football to win.
Last year, the Raiders, as you know, Steve, really ripped up running yardage. They were the best running team in the NFL, and they really ripped the Seahawks. But the Seahawks are a much tougher to run on now. Here is Rodgers back for the punt. And a beautifully executed special teams play by the Oakland Raiders as Rodgers is taken down inside the 10-yard line. So Hasselbeck and the Seahawks go on offense when we come back. There was a penalty signal.
Illegally downfield, 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
So a 54-yard punt with a very short return is negated now as the Raiders, Steve, had an extra guy or a guy leaving early downfield. That used to be you.
That's exactly right. One of the things that you always do, I think, as a receiving team, especially in this case where they got great coverage, make them kick it again. It's so difficult to run 60 yards in the heat with the guy trying to block you to come back, walk back down the field, kick it again, and then try to do that again. You can expect on these type of plays for the Seattle Seahawks to get a much better return because of the fatigue factor of the coverage unit.
Those words spoken by a guy who went to the Pro Bowl 7 times, Steve Tasker, as a Buffalo Bill as a special teams specialist. Now back to punt is Leckler. Tremendous leg. They got a great kicking game here in Oakland. A long ball hit downfield, but Rodgers will run this one back across the 30. And a big difference in starting position now for the Seahawks as Rodgers is knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Tackle on the play by Bobby Brooks. In the throw, near side throw, and he swings it out beautifully to Ricky Waters, who crashes ahead for what looks to be first down yardage out to the 45-yard line. Anthony Dorsett knocks him out of bounds, a 10-yard gain. Matt Hasselbeck, who was blitzed non-stop last week by the Eagles, sacked 7 times. But his teammates all extol him. They think he's going to be a tremendous player. Every teammate you talk to.
Well, you talk to John Gruden, it's his job to stop him today, and he looks across the field and says, hey, I know firsthand, if Mike Holmgren says this guy can play, I know he can play. And he's shown in his preseason starts as a player, that's the reason the guy gets scouted and gets a starting chance. He has played very well in limited opportunities in the preseason.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck is big at 6'4", 235 pounds. He's the son of a former standout tight end, Don Hasselbeck, who played with the Patriots.
So Hasselbeck, you know, this is a guy that's in his it's his 3rd start as a pro. It's going to take some time. I mean, this is a young guy who's on a team with a lot of solid veterans. Ricky Waters on that club. This is a guy that's going to have to grow into his comfort level to where he can lead this team and step up and say, hey, this is my team and I'm going to run it. He's not there yet.
That early throw could give him some confidence. Mike Holmgren telling us yesterday his offense lacks confidence right now. His defense does not. It's a handoff, and Waters, who's been a tremendous player now in his 11th season, takes it ahead and is knocked down by William Thomas as we look at the Seahawks on offense. 3 former #1 draft choices in their offensive line, including Waller Jones, Steve Hutchinson, and the right tackle McIntosh. Tobeck, a good center. Garrett Gray at guard. Waters and Max Strong, the runners. Rookie Corn Robinson and Darrell Jackson, the wideouts. Etula Mealy starts at tight end. It is now 2nd down and 9 for the Seahawks at their 46-yard line. Pitch back. Penalty markers down as Waters breaks it. Ricky Waters comes in, averaging 5.4 yards a rush this season. Taken down by Tony Bryant, but a couple of penalty markers down.
One of the things about Matt Hasselbeck, he's got a guy behind him in Ricky Waters who's had some success against this Raider team. When you look back at Ricky Waters' career numbers, that'll give a quarterback a lot of confidence. But Hasselbeck has got to have a good running game before he's going to be able to flourish as a quarterback.
Now, Matt Hasselbeck, apparently the call against the Raiders is referee Ron Blum. Tells Matt Hasselbeck what the options are here. Here's referee Ron Blum.
Offside, 90 defense, 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Grady Jackson jumped early.
They're going to take the play. They're going to take the results of the penalty rather than the play and lose the 2 yards. So instead of a 7 or 8 yard gain, it's going to be a 5-yard gain and repeat the down.
Defensive line, Upshaw, Taves, Jackson across the front with Bryant, Thomas, Beekert, and Alexander, the linebackers. A great corner in Woodson. Eric Allen, the veteran, at the other corner. Dorsett and Pope, the safeties. Handoff. Waters turns it upfield, breaks into the Raider defense, and takes it down to the 39-yard line. Big block on the play downfield by the rookie wide receiver, Corn Robinson.
And he really makes this play as Ricky Waters comes around the corner. It's really underrated how important the wide receivers are in the run game. Watch as Ricky Waters has plenty of room to cut inside the block. Woodson has a hard time getting in there, even though he made a pretty good shot. Ricky Waters has enough room to get in there and make a 5-yard game, and that's the company that Ricky Waters keeps with a career like his.
116 straight starts for Waters. Has never missed a game in his 11th year out of Notre Dame. First down and 10. Seahawks driving on their first possession after stopping the Raiders. Good throw. It goes to Jackson, the wide receiver, and Darrell Jackson out of Florida, University of Florida, takes it ahead and gets down close to the Raider 31-yard line.
The thing about this Seattle offense, and we spoke to Mike Holmgren yesterday, he says, I've got to make sure Matt Hasselbeck doesn't get hit so much. And this is one of the ways. Let him drop back and throw some routes that are very short, let the guys catch it, and then break for long run. That'll build confidence. When you talk to all the guys on this team, confidence is the one thing that offense has lacked.
Well, they're getting more confident now, moving the ball on this first possession. Handoff. There's not much there for Waters. Raiders come in and shut it down quickly. On the baseball infield, this, of course, also the home of the red-hot Oakland A's, as Marquez Pope, strong safety, came up and was one of the tacklers, 23.
This offense with Ricky Waters in the backfield, you mentioned just a moment ago, Don, Ricky doesn't miss many games. And we asked him, how is it,
he doesn't miss any.
He doesn't miss any games. How do you keep that going? He says, well, nowadays in the NFL, you can't get out of shape. You're always in shape throughout the offseason. You work hard, and that's really the standard line in the NFL now. Nobody gets out of shape. Training camp is to learn. You stay in shape because you're a professional.
Handoff on 3rd and short. Hasselbeck goes behind his center, Tobeck, but there's penalty markers down all over. Robbie Tobeck out of Washington State, a very good, aggressive, quick center. Got the block up, but we'll see if they...
Ball start.
They did leave early.
Offense. 5 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, that happens on a quick snap. Sometimes you go up there and everybody thinks, okay, it's going to be on the very first thing he says, first sound. And there's no rhythm there, so you can't really hear the quarterback. You just kind of have to go, and everybody's trying to get that big jump just for a quick quarterback sneak. And it happens just as often on a quick count as it does on a long count.
Well, it sets them back now, and both these teams have excellent long field goal kickers. They can really boom it from way out. Hasselbeck goes to Waters on a draw. Look at the move by Ricky Waters as he drives down close to the 31. He's short of the first down, but it will bring up 4th down and probably about a yard.
And they're going to keep Hasselbeck and the offense on the field. I think that's a good move here on the road. You'll watch here as Ricky Waters, watch as he pops through. Watch the move he puts on Marquez Pope, gets by him, but then the help is there. Good move, I think, on Mike Holmgren's part. This is, you're on the road, you're down deep into their end, go for it. Make a statement to your team. Get some confidence here early in the game.
Let's see if this is a confidence maker or the Raiders make it a confidence breaker. 4th down and 1, Seahawks. Hasselbeck looked like he changed the play. Crowd really kicks in. Handoff. Waters is stopped. The Raiders take over the ball. Great defense by the Raiders as the linebackers shoot along with Brady Jackson. And so on 4th and 1, the Seahawks drive is stopped. And the Raiders take over the ball, and they'll be on offense for the second time in this game when we come back to Oakland.
Matt Hasselbeck on 4th down changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and when you do that as a quarterback, you got to answer to the head guy. You can see there he's explaining what he saw, and Mike Holmgren says, okay, that'll do it. But it better work when you change the play as a quarterback.
You talk about Mike Holmgren's absolutes. One of them don't be changing many plays. Here's a throw to Jerry Rice downfield. Ken Lucas, the rookie corner from Mississippi, trying to defend him. But the Raiders hit their first big gainer on the play.
One of these
17 yards.
What happens? Rich Gannon here finding Jerry Rice. This is a heck of a throw right here. Good route. Look at that. That's Jerry Rice vintage. He uses the receiver or the defender's abilities against him, gets him turned the wrong direction, breaks the route off. Quarterbacks love throwing footballs to guys who can get separation, and that guy's been doing it for a long time.
228 consecutive games with at least one reception for the greatest receiver in the history of the game, Jerry Rice. Longtime 49er, now a Raider. 16 years with the Niners across the bay. Here's a near side throw, and the ball is tipped away. They were looking at Jeremy Brigham, was Rich Gannon. Couldn't make the completion. Chad Brown playing having a good year at outside linebacker, and there is a penalty marker down.
One of the things you'll see Rich Gannon change the play quite often. And as a quarterback, you know, you go to the Pro Bowl, you earn that right.
Ball is against Seattle.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 90, defense, 15 yards.
Chad Eaton, defensive tackle, who was signed as an unrestricted free agent from New England, the former Washington State Cougar.
As a quarterback, when you're in there, we saw Matt Hasselbeck do it on the last play of the Seattle possession. Now Rich Gannon, you'll see him change the play as well. Matt Hasselbeck doesn't have as much confidence to do that as often as Rich Gannon. Plus, Rich Gannon has earned the right to run this offense. He has a great relationship with John Gruden, the head coach, and he has more leeway because of his experience.
Well, they're the same age. Here's the thrower. Gruden, I guess, has got him by a year, but they're nearly the same age. As Rice, again, is wide open. They all talk, Steve, about the unbelievable work ethic of Jerry Rice. He sets the pace even in this, his 17th NFL season. Nobody can outwork him. Raiders now with an interesting play call. 2nd down and 3 at the 28-yard line. Big Lincoln Kennedy, or Mo Collins next to him, might have left early. 79.
One of the things I've noticed about the Raider game plan today already, they're not running the football.
Ball start, 79 offense, 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
This is a team that ran the football better than anybody in the National Football League a year ago, and the Seahawks knew it. Now watch here, you'll see as Mo Collins just steps out. But this is a team that runs the ball well, but today they're acknowledging that the Seahawks defense has improved, and they're going to throw it out of here.
Last year, the Raiders rushed for over 200 yards in both wins over. And here is a throw to Rice and his first touchdown as a Raider. Jerry Rice from 33 yards out. And Mike Holmgren, who said rule number 1 today, key to the game, don't give up the big play. But the Raiders burn them deep and take the lead.
Jerry Rice told us on Friday, he goes, I really want to score my first touchdown today. And watch here as he runs right up the seam. Perfect route. Great throw from Gannon. And watch as he crosses the goal line right up into what they call the black hole here in the Coliseum. And there it is.
The extra point by Janikowski is hit up and good. So the Raiders hit the big play as the Eagles did last week to build a lead on the Seahawks. Back to Oakland with 6:22 left to go in the first quarter. The Raiders on their 2nd possession hit the big play for the great Jerry Rice, who has now scored 188 regular season touchdowns in the NFL. No one even approaches that in the history of the game. Charlie Rogers back deep now for the Seahawks. Ready to run back the kickoff. Stepping into the ball, getting ready to, is Sebastian Janikowski. He powers the ball deep the field. They'll run it back. Here comes Rogers. 10-15, and good special teams play by the Raiders. And again, the Seahawks will start in their own end at the 15 this time, just across it. Eric Barton comes down and makes the stop.
Well, here's the touchdown. You'll watch Rich Gannon look the safety back to the left side of the field, then come back to Jerry Rice working one-on-one with the safety, Reggie Tongue. That's a mismatch, and that's what a lot of good receivers will give you. Tim Brown on the left, the safety has to respect him, and then all of a sudden you look over and you've got the best guy that's ever played the game on the right side, and you just don't know what to do as a defensive back.
Right, you know, Steve, he was so anxious to score today. The first regular season game here at Network Associates Coliseum with the Raiders, and he does. Here is Hasselbeck stepping in. He goes long, and Darrell Jackson's on the fly, but the ball is overthrown as the Seahawks try to get some back in a hurry. Woodson was running stride for stride with Jackson.
And one of the most publicized offseason acquisitions ever is this guy, Jerry Rice, moving across the bay from the San Francisco 49ers to the Oakland Raiders. And that's total yards, all-purpose yards. And that's very distinguished company. And Jerry Rice is, he continues to change the record books.
Hall of Fame company. I got a first ballot Hall of Famer, the other wideout, too, when they back on the offensive side to the Raiders. And Tim Brown. Here's Hasselbeck, makes a throw, and it might have been picked had not the cornerback, Eric Allen, not backpedaled and tripped on the baseball infield.
Yeah, that was Corn Robinson, the rookie there, and he did something you don't do in the National Football League. You never stop on a slant route. And Eric Allen almost ended up with the football because of that. Corn Robinson, you know, when you're at the level in college, you do that because your quarterback has a little more time. In the NFL, the ball's coming out of there and it's going to a spot. You better be there, and he wasn't.
Ricky Waters, we're informed, has a sprained right shoulder. Here's a guy who's never missed a game, and his return to this game is now listed as questionable. Bad blow. Here's another throw down the middle, and it's overthrown as they were ready to level Corn Robinson, but the ball was way overthrown. And a penalty marker's down at the line of scrimmage.
That's going to be encroachment. I think that somebody lined up in the neutral zone for the Raiders. The Seahawks will get another shot at this.
Number 93, defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Repeat third down.
Trace Armstrong, the guy that came over from the Miami Dolphins.
They're concerned about him, too. They were talking yesterday. We talked to Mike Holmgren. He said, we've really got to account for him.
As an offense, and especially an offensive line, there's always one guy on the other team that you want to make sure you know where he is. And Trace Armstrong is a guy that they're going to have at least 2 guys looking at in all their pass protection, because this is a guy that is a specialist. He rushes the passer like nobody.
13-year veteran from Florida, Trace Armstrong. Had 16.5 sacks last season with the Dolphins before coming here as a free agent. On 3rd down and 5, Hasselbeck gets it away, but it's incomplete. As he goes out to Bobby Ingram. The Seattle offense with no touchdowns this season. Jeff Fiegels, their punter, now comes out, and the Raiders could come out of this with good field position. They drop back David Dunn. Fiegels, a very good punter, been at it a long time. 14th year. Skilled directional punter, averaging almost 48 yards a punt this year.
It's not going to get any easier for Seattle Seahawks if Ricky Waters is unable to come back into this game.
Huge blow. Eagles hits a high spiral. Dunn comes up on it at the 32. Looks for the sideline, and the special teams coverage is good as Alex Bannister, a first-year wide receiver, comes down along with Fabian Bones to make the special teams tackle. 49-yard punt, 8-yard return. Ricky Waters on the sideline, diagnosed preliminarily as a sprained right shoulder. Ice is on. It doesn't look, Steve, like he's going to be back anytime soon. A big blow to the offense of the Seahawks. Gannon pump fakes. Near side throw to his tight end, and Brigham takes it down. Big Jeremy Brigham, who was a former Washington Husky, knocked out of bounds by Anthony Simmons.
It's really surprising to watch this Raider team. They went into Miami a week ago with a conservative game plan. They handed the ball up. They didn't want to turn it over. They felt like if they could keep the Miami offense off the field, they'd be all right. And they were. It was a pretty good road game. They got off the hook in the last minute. But today, they're throwing it all over the field.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaking loss for the Raiders last week. They had a 15-10 lead at Miami with 1:41 to play, and with no timeouts, the Dolphins went 80 yards and got the winning score. Handoff. Nothing happening for Charlie Garner as a much more aggressive attacking Seahawk defense shuts it down. Chad Eaton and Chad Brown were on the stop.
You know, one of the things we spoke about, and the thing that's different about this Seahawk defense is that guy right there, Chad Eaton, also Levon Kirkland in the middle, and John Randall, who is a fantastic pass rusher and a high motor guy inside on the defensive tackle. Right in the heart of the Seahawk defense are 3 new guys who have really, really improved the overall team.
Well, they were last in NFL defense. As you know, Steve, last year the Seahawks, they have improved markedly. Gannon takes a look. Here comes the rush. He lobs the ball downfield, and there's too much on it. We'll take a look now and see maybe where Ricky Waters might have gotten hurt earlier.
And I'll tell you what, for the Seahawks, this is the play of the game. I mean, Ricky Waters is a guy they've got to have. And you see there, just the pile up. You don't know. It looked like he kind of rolled with it. It didn't look like a vicious hit. You see worse things, really. You don't see where his shoulder got hurt that time. You know what? He may have already been hurt on that play. It didn't look like he ran with the normal Ricky Waters oomph.
Well, it brings up now 4th and 3, and without Ricky Waters, the Seahawks will get it back on offense. Leckler booms a punt. Charlie Rogers lets it carry him into the end zone for a touchback. And Matt Hasselbeck and the Seahawks will go on offense from their 20. First and 10. 7-0 Raiders. And the touchdown throw from Rich Gannon to Jerry Rice. Hasselbeck without his lead runner. Now goes first and 10 to throw the ball. Timing pattern. He's in trouble. Gets out of it. Looks downfield. And Matt Hasselbeck does well to get back to the line of scrimmage as William Thomas, an 11-year veteran at outside linebacker, brings him down. 59.
Yeah, well, Matt Hasselbeck has not played well in the first 2 games. They have not scored an offensive touchdown. Here's his numbers. 29 for 58 and 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 11 times. But I think one of the things you have to remember, especially with Ricky Watters out of the game, Matt Hasselbeck has to have the frame of mind that this is his chance. This is his opportunity. He doesn't have anybody to lean on. This is something he can turn into a positive if he can play well.
That was credited as a sack to William Thomas in the Raider defense. Hasselbeck throws over the middle. Beautifully done as he triggers the ball to Corin Robinson. Big, rangy wide receiver out of North Carolina who they expect to be a great one. First-round draft choice, a 15-yard gain, and a big play for the Hawks.
That was a good, excellent play by Hasselbeck. Stood tall in the pocket. Watch, at the last moment, he gets rid of this. Then he's down. The pocket collapses, but Robinson makes a good catch, and that's a gutsy throw into some coverage. Matt Hasselbeck, you can't really tell, but when you stand next to him on the sidelines, at least when I do, he's really tall. He's a big guy, so he can take some hits.
There's 6'4", 233. He's 3 of 6. For 33 yards throwing the ball. He's been sacked once. Stands in. There's another throw, and he gets Corin Robinson. They've been waiting for him to emerge. Robinson with just 4 pretty much meaningless catches in the first 2 games. But all of a sudden, you see why he was a #1 draft choice, a high #1. 17-yard gain.
Corin Robinson is in his first action here this year. Watch as he comes out of the slot right at the top of your screen, right in behind the linebackers. And that's just an excellent throw. It takes a little time for routes like that to develop in weeks past. Matt Hasselbeck's been on his back or running for his life by the time a route like that develops.
There's no question, Steve, the pass blocking is really tightened up. They're trying to get a rush up the middle of Hasselbeck, and it's being slammed shut. The open channels. Here's a throw. Sideline and very nearly picked. Charles Woodson, phenomenal player, first-team All-Pro player, former Heisman Trophy winner, a shutdown cornerback, had his hands on it.
Well, this is Raider football. Look at, he stops, no false steps at all. When he plants that back foot, he is breaking on the football, and that is almost going the other way. Raiders football, my cornerback will take your wide receiver, and the other cornerback will take the other one, and we'll play 9-on-9 between the tackles, and we'll see if you can beat us. That's Raider football. And that's the defensive coordinator, Chuck Bresnahan. He fits into that philosophy just fine, thank you.
They'll be coming on the rush now. On 2nd down and 10, they bring up blitzers. Halfback goes to John Alexander, and Alexander is cut down after a gain of only about a yard by William Thomas. In his 11th year, a former Pro Bowler with the Philadelphia Eagles, who a guy they say is as smart as there is at the position, diagnoses every play instantly.
Yeah, you can't fool him. I mean, that's the thing. You see Chuck Bresnahan there. He's got his own wristband. You see quarterbacks with that all the time, and he's got his play selection stuck in his belt there, and a wristband too. And that's a guy that is really into it defensively. He loves this defense.
Now they have Max Strong, the fullback, at the top of your screen as a wide receiver. Nobody in the backfield. It'll be a quick drop. Raiders might have left early as he's shooting over towards Max Strong.
Yeah, he threw that away. He knew the play was dead.
Gray might have moved. See what the call is.
Neutral zone infraction. Defensive man came into the neutral zone, caused the offense to false start. 5 yards against the defense. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, there you go. And that's a defender can jump all over. He can make you try and jump off, but as long as he stays out of the neutral zone, he's okay. Somebody jumped into the neutral zone, which caused.
That's why Chris Gray jumped, but it was
exactly right.
So that makes it 3rd down now and 4 for the Seahawks at the 43-yard line of the Raiders. Hasselbeck looking much more confident this week. Dig down now. Hasselbeck stands in, and they'll sack him back at the 47-yard line. Charles Woodson The lightning-quick blitzer from the cornerback position comes in unblocked.
He did come in unblocked, and he is lightning fast, but he came in very late. It was delayed blitz. Watch here, the rushers come, and then watch, very late, Charles Woodson comes in from the outside. They didn't account for him, and because of his speed, he could wait and wait and wait, and then close fast enough to still make the play.
And that brings up 4th down and 13, and so the Seahawks will have to punt the ball. Booming high punt, hit downfield, and Dunn fair catches the ball at his 13-yard line, and there the Raiders with a 7-0 lead will go back on offense. Tonight on CBS.
Well, in the first couple of series, the Raiders have come out on offense and thrown it all over the joint. I mean, they're really airing it out. They've only had 2 rushes and 10 passes. And that, I'm telling you right now, the Seahawks didn't expect that.
Now Mike Holmgren told us yesterday, Steve, he said, we know they're going to try to run because they had, in 2 games, a combined 438 yards rushing last year against Seattle. Gannon takes a look. Sidearms the ball, and the tackle is quickly made by Chad Brown on Charlie Garner. Brown, a very good outside backer who already has 4 sacks this season, NFL leader.
He's one of the guys, those free agents that the Seahawks continue to bring in to bolster this defense. It's Rich Gannon finding a guy that is quickly becoming a go-to guy in this offense. The Raiders' offensive coordinator, they love him. Gruden loves this guy. They can do a lot of things. As the first quarter ends, Raiders are throwing it all over the park and lead by a touchdown.
On the touchdown throw to Jerry Rice from Rich Gannon. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Raiders 7, Seattle nothing. Will return to Network Associates Coliseum right after this message. Raiders come out. 2nd down coming up. Gannon back to his 10. The heat's on, and he gets rid of the ball, and very wisely gets it away for an incomplete pass. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker here at Network Associates Coliseum. The early return's not good for the Seahawks on the injury to Ricky Watters. Not looking like Ricky will be back with that sprained shoulder.
No, and that's crucial for the Seahawks offense. They're already struggling. Matt Hasselbeck needs all the help he can get. You take out a guy who's had a tremendous career. That's going to take another toll, and it's going to take, if he's not back soon, within a week or 2, this offense is going to go nowhere. They've got to convert on 3rd down. They've got to get first downs, and if they don't do that, this season is going to go downhill even faster than an 0-3 start.
But there's a long way to go, and this Seahawk defense, they could be forcing some turnovers before this is over. Here is Gannon under the pressure. He throws to an open receiver. Crossing the field and running wide open is Jerry Porter, the 2nd-year wideout from West Virginia, who breaks a big play of 21 yards out to the 40-yard line. First down, Raiders.
Jerry Porter, a guy who comes off the bench. You got Jerry Rice to worry about. You got Tim Brown to worry about. And Jerry Porter, who comes out, and this guy's big. Jerry Porter is a big wide receiver. He's 6'2", 220. In fact, I thought he was a tight end when I watched him practice the other day. They still want more from him. He's still learning the game, but, you know, they've got so many weapons offensively, and Rich Gannon is the perfect guy to find all of them.
Gannon searches out everybody. A guy who truly gets better with age. Here's a great play fake, and they hand off, and Jerry Porter's the man again. Jerry Porter, a big wide receiver at 6'2", 220. And he has got straight line speed. Not yet a polished receiver, but he can go when he gets the ball. That one's good for 13 yards. 34 yards from Porter on the last 2 plays.
Where you see him, and I'm telling you, 6'2", 220. He looks bigger than that. I mean, you and I both were astounded at how big he's an H-back type of guy, and a great compliment for the 2 Hall of Famers they've got in there right now.
The Raiders have always loved speed. That is Tim Brown, who still has speed, even in his advanced part of his career, 13th year. The Raiders go to the run, and Tyrone Wheatley busts it right at the Seahawk defense. And he's ahead for a gain of 9 yards.
Well, you knew it was going to happen at some point. They were the #1 rushing team in the league a year ago. You knew Tyrone Wheatley would come in, and sooner or later you're going to get one between the tackles, and here it comes. The offensive line of the Raiders without their great center, Barrett Robbins, Adam True in there in place of him and getting it done. Tyrone Wheatley, a guy who can really carry a lot of balls during the game.
And up again as he gets the ball again. And this is Garner who breaks it. Man, he's got a motor. Charlie Garner, not big at 5'10", 195. Rips it right at the Hawks, but there is a penalty marker down.
And how often you see it, Don, where you soften them up with the run, then go to the pass, and today they come out and they throw it as a hold penalty is called. They come out and throw it around and then come back and just start pounding between the tackles.
Holding number 86, offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Roland Williams called on the hold. There's John Gruden. Now you got to go back to the 1st and 10, and it's going to be, what are they showing there? It's going to be about 2nd and 8 there.
Give me a different spot.
Gannon had a phenomenal record, particularly at home last year. He's one of the top-rated quarterbacks in football. Had 19 touchdown throws in this stadium last season, only 4 interceptions. Timing throw again. He waits for a receiver to clear. Wheatley fumbles it, but out of bounds. A penalty marker came out, and then they didn't throw it.
Well, he was trying to get his beanbag out. Wheatley fumbled that as he went out of bounds.
The beanbag spotting with the ball's down.
Exactly. Anthony Simmons pushing him out of bounds there. Watch here. Gannon has the slant to Rice, then goes to the flat as Wheatley comes open. You'll watch. Here's the ball will pop out of bounds. And there the official will reach and just mark it as a fumble.
Tyrone Wheatley, another of the projects, if you will, of the Raiders. He was a former #1 draft choice of the Giants, did little. Went down to Miami. Jimmy Johnson looked at him 3 days in practice and caught him outright. So he was a street free agent. He came in here and has been terrific. Had over 1,000 yards last year.
He's one of those guys that needs a complimentary guy. I mean, Napoleon Kaufman was it last year. Charlie Garner is him this year.
And Gannon again sees a defensive set that throws him while he's deep into the play count. He calls timeout. Just a bit earlier, Mike Holmgren looking for an explanation from the referee, Ron Blum. Right now, it is 2nd down, 1 to go. For the Raiders, just outside the 35-yard line. Handoff, and Zach Crockett bangs at the Seahawk defense, but there's a marker down again.
All of a sudden, the officials are throwing flags every play.
Raiders have many times led the league in penalties.
Before the ball was snapped, false start, 25 offense, 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
They've also won Super Bowls in years they've led the league in penalties.
Exactly right. You know, you always
whatever works.
You got to have a certain number of players on your team that are out there to play, not really think about it, just go out and play, and that's when you run into high penalty counts. And that John Gruden, always the game face.
He coached under Mike Holmgren for 3 years at Green Bay, did John Gruden. 2nd down. Out pattern. Garner. They catch him and hold on. Making the play was Marcus Bell. Big Mike Holmgren pacing the sidelines. Temperature up here in the press box is in the mid-70s, but I tell you, we were down that field, Steve. It's probably mid-90s.
It's a factor for the coaches more than it is for the players on the field, though.
On 3rd down and 3, Gannon gets a lot of time. Now he's running out of it. He throws the ball, and his receiver slips. Lamar King, big pass rusher coming at him. He was going to John Ritchie with the throw.
As Rich Gannon went back, Lamar King just absolutely sidestepped the block from Tyrone Wheatley and came free right into Gannon's face, and all he could do is just try and get it out there.
And Charlie Rogers, number 20, one of the best, goes back anticipating the punt. There's Charlie of Shane Leckler, who's been a terrific punter in his 2nd year out of Texas A&M, averaging over 48 yards a punt for the Raiders, almost 36 yards net. Angles it near side. Rogers comes up on him, dodges the first guy, fumbles the ball. And who's got it? The Raiders do. A critical turnover. Rogers coughs it up, and the Raiders come up with the ball.
Shane Leckler punts this ball. It's a very short, very soft punt.
Nobody hit him.
No, it just comes. Well, watch here as it pops up. And right there, as they go by, you reach across, trying to make the tackle, get the ball, and that's it. Huge mistake by Charlie Rogers. Watch here. You see the fumble caused by Eric Barton, the linebacker.
That used to be the business you were in, huh?
And that's it.
What do you do, punches the ball?
Exactly. Just lay across. The first thing you're thinking about is the tackle, but always try and tackle the football. Forget about the guy.
First and 10 Raiders. Gannon. Flat throw. A hard hit put on as the tight end comes down with the ball. Roland Williams in his 4th year from Syracuse. Willie Williams back in the lineup at starting cornerback, number 27.
They struggled a little bit outside last week, did the Seahawks. Willie Williams gives them some added veteran leadership back in the lineup. That's the starting corner, and that's the kind of play you expect a starting corner to make. They didn't get those last week against Philadelphia.
Willie is still playing with a cast on his, what was a broken left arm. Still got some pop, though, with that right one. Second down and 6. Gannon throws, and he's almost picked off. A big Chad Eaton. Penalty markers down.
A late flag in the pocket. That's going to go
against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Steve, how about this baseball infield? How much does that affect play?
You know, you don't even think about it until you start having to play on it, and there's a good stretch.
Holding, 76 offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
The only people it really affects are the skill guys. The offensive lineman, it doesn't bother. But the wide receiver, you'll see here right in the middle of your screen, 62 there, Adam True, and right there, that's Steve Wisniewski. The great left guard working against a great defensive tackler in John Randall. Trying to make it, keep him safe there in Rich Gannon. But, yeah, the dirt doesn't make that much difference, Don. It does to guys like Jerry Rice and Tim Brown.
So you slip on it. Here's Gannon taking a look at the end zone. Firing hard, and he drills it inside the 10-yard line to Jerry Rice for 20 yards and a first down. First and goal, Raiders. And Lucas, the rookie, victimized.
If you want to send a guy to the Pro Bowl, give him this kind of time. After the holding call, the offensive line comes through in a big way. Rich Gannon could eat a sandwich back there, and these are the two guys he's throwing to. Look at the number of yards, the touchdowns, those numbers, the little first right there, that's NFL history, and Tim Brown's not too far behind.
It's unbelievable. Between them, almost 2,100 catches. Numbers are mind-boggling. They just become enormous boxcar numbers. Here is Garner cutting back, and Charlie Garner takes it to the 5-yard line like a bolt of lightning. He really has that great change of speed and cutback move.
When you get down to this part of the field, and the Oakland Raiders are very good at this, their running game is tailored to run between the tackles, and Charlie Garner and Tyrone Wheatley are specialists at it. Garner gets in there, he ducks down, he's not that tall, but he runs sideways. He can cut and continue to accelerate through the cut in traffic, and it's very difficult to find him in that traffic inside that small box between the tackles. But the Raiders do that so well.
Right now, they're looking to capitalize on the turnover of the Raiders. Charlie Rogers fumbling a punt return. On second down, the give is to Garner, and he drives into tacklers. A lot of pop for a 195-pounder. He drives back 275-pound Levon Kirkland, the middle backer.
Don, you want to get an idea of what it's like down there. This is where, the old saying, this is where the rubber meets the road. You don't have any ground to give as a defense, and if you talk to any offensive coordinator in the league, they say, when you get down here, you gotta run the football. If the defense thinks you're gonna run the football and you can, then everything else opens up. But if they don't believe you can run it, you'll never score.
They sure ran it last year in beating the Hawks twice. Now they're going to power football. Third down and goal from the 2. Gannon, fade pattern to the end zone. And good defense as the center receiver, Jerry Porter, is screened away from the ball by the rookie Ken Lucas.
We mentioned a moment ago, Jerry Porter's the big receiver working against the rookie cornerback. They wanted to throw it up for a jump ball and let him just out-physical the defensive back. You see there, Jerry Lucas, and to me, you're supposed to look for the football. He looked very late. There's no call.
Now a 20-yard field goal by Janikowski, who's been 7 of 7. He's hit them all this year. And he does again, but it's a stop really for the Seahawks. They stopped the touchdown. Raiders don't have a rushing touchdown this season. In this game, they now have a 10-0 lead. England's looking good on the Bay, and for the Raiders also on their home field as they now extend to a 10-0 lead on the field goal by Janikowski from 20 yards out. He hits the kickoff. Rogers is the guy who fumbled the punt. And the last time he touched it, takes it back, runs it outside, crosses the 15 and gets out close to the 24-yard line. So Charlie Rogers out of Georgia Tech gets downfield. And Rich Gannon checks some things out as the Seahawks will go on offense. Al Davis, the man who runs the Raiders, talking to Al on the field before the game. He said, we got to win. Played well last week at Miami. That's not good enough. You got to win. Just win, baby, the mantra for the Raiders over the years. A team that won 3 Super Bowls. Eric Barton comes on a rush. Right now, second down arises for the Seahawks without their best offensive weapon, Ricky Watters, who went out in the first quarter with a bruised shoulder. Here is Sean Alexander, the young runner, going hard out of Alabama, and he loses the ball, and here come the Raiders. It's a live play. This is Eric Allen. He's going in. So another turnover, maybe an early knockout punch. A 25-yard return by Eric Allen.
And there are no flags. There's a player down, a Raider down over on the 25, but there are no flags. The Seahawks are reeling at the moment. Before this last offensive series, the Raiders had 11 plays and had the ball forever. The offense can't get in the rhythm if they can't get on the field, and here's the play. The ball pops out. You see there's the reaction of the players. Eric Allen alertly picks it up and runs in. Nobody's there. And the Raider on the far side still down.
Raiders so tough to beat here. That's good to see Alexander's up and all right. Raiders last season lost their home opener to Denver, then won 7 straight home games, then a playoff game against Miami before losing to Baltimore in the playoffs. Gannon was phenomenal, particularly on the home field, and now the Raiders look to build their lead to 17-0.
Well, they've gotten a big play on their special teams with a turnover. Now offensively or defensively, the Raiders have also come up with a huge turnover.
Janikowski, who's not missed a kick this season, drives it through. 17-0 Raiders. The Raiders will kick off when we come back to Oakland. Back to Oakland. 2 fumbles by the Seahawks have led to 10 Oakland points. Charlie Rogers fumbled a punt return. And then it was a fumble by Sean Alexander that led to that last score, and it's 17-0. Here's the ball, hit downfield. Rogers, he's consistent bringing it out from his end zone. He's not yet gotten to the 20, and he won't again. And that paid him to take down the ball, I guess, Steve, huh?
You come into a team, into a stadium like the Raiders have here, it's a home field advantage already. And when you cough the ball up, you dig yourself a hole that you just can't climb out of.
Mike Holmgren looking for answers. Waters out with a shoulder injury. Now Hasselbeck's going to have to start firing. He does on first down, stepping up. There's a throw, and he gets it out. Taken in beautifully by Christian Fourier.
It was around the National Football League today. There was Sunday's heroes. Antoine Smith for New England. 22 rushes for 94 yards and a big win for them.
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, the former Buffalo Bill.
Kurt Warner having a big day as the Rams blow out the Dolphins 42-10. And Trent Green, a new Kansas City Chief, as they get their first win.
Jerome Bettis for 114 yards in Buffalo as they take it to the Bills.
Over the middle again, they go to Fourier. As all of a sudden, Holmgren, getting information surely from upstairs, Steve, decides to get the ball inside more on the passing game to the tight end, 9-yard gain.
Well, he's got no choice. Ricky Watters is sitting on the bench next to him. He hands it off to the next guy, Sean Alexander, and he promptly coughs it up into the hands of Eric Allen, who runs it in for a touchdown. He's telling Matt Hasselbeck right here, drop back, throw it to the first guy you see, let's move the football. You can sense now that there is a little more urgency in the Seahawk offense.
Hasselbeck has been sacked twice. Here comes another rush. Again, he steps in, fires to the flat. And the coverage is good. Torrey James was on the rookie Corin Robinson, who has 2 catches today. A quick adjustment of the footwear.
There, right as he planted to throw that ball, his foot came out of the shoe, and that ball goes wobbling off into the sidelines. Watch as he drops back. He plants. His foot comes out. He can't plant with no cleat. That'll cause you to miss a throw once in a while.
Hasselbeck comes in with a quarterback rating of under 47 as they struggled the first two games, although they are 1-1. They won at Cleveland on a field goal game 9-6 on opening day. And the Hawks were beaten at home by the Eagles last week. On 2nd and 10, a timing throw. It's connected to the tight end. And Fourier drives ahead for a first down. And a penalty marker's down in the backfield. Personal foul, roughing the passer against the Raiders.
One of the things that happened last week is you see Ricky Waters on the sideline. The Raiders got into Miami, and once they got up on Miami, a good defensive team.
Roughing the passer, 53 defense, 15 yards, first down.
That was on Travion Smith, the linebacker, the personal foul. You'll see it here. But this defense of the Raiders went into Miami, and that's a kind of an iffy call, please. But they just kind of folded their tents up defensively. They lost that game last week. They didn't get beat. They lost it. And I think you'll find that repeated throughout their locker room. They let the fish off the hook, as John Gruden told us the other day. But they don't want to fall into that trap today, up 17 points.
Hasselbeck now, though, has him in a good field position. The beneficiaries of the personal foul call. Hasselbeck looks. And does he get the ball away? They're going to rule it incomplete. Here's another penalty marker down.
Incomplete pass to begin with, in a late flag. Hasselbeck was wrapped up in the pocket trying to throw it, then got hit again as the ball popped out.
Well, he was trying to bring it forward, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was an incomplete pass, no question about it. And then there was a late flag at the recovery when you see there Greg Beaker tried to cover that ball up as if it were a fumble, and he got jacked.
Personal foul this time is signaled against the Seahawks.
Quarterback was in the grasp here. The play is ruled dead here. Personal foul, 61 offense, 15 yards.
Robbie Toback, the center.
Yeah, he continued on with the play, and the officials felt like they had already blown the whistle. And Toback came in and gave Greg Beaker an extra shot after the incomplete pass. But the sack collapsed. Watch it. Hasselbeck gets there. You see there over the top of the offensive lineman hanging on. That's Rod Coleman there, and Trace Armstrong at the end.
So now it is a very difficult down in yardage as the ball is set back to the 43-yard line of Seattle. It will be first down, a loss of 20 yards all total on that play.
It's like first and 29 or something like that.
Yeah, about first and 30. Oh, yeah, about first and 29 when they have it spotted.
First in a sandwich.
Here is Hasselbeck now looking for the play. All the plays come in from Mike Holmgren.
Right now, you're not thinking about trying to get a first down. You're trying to just knock it down to where you can get to third and something. Right there, Matt Hasselbeck sacked 3 times, hurried twice, knocked down 7 times today. Now, you can say what you want about how good a quarterback Matt Hasselbeck is, but I think you got to say something about how bad his offensive line is playing in front of him.
Well, there's a lot of high draft choices. Walter Jones, the left tackle of the Seahawks, has been to the Pro Bowl in '99. Steve Hutchinson, the left guard out of Michigan, was their #1 draft choice this year, and Holmgren says flatly he will be a great player.
You got to think, I mean, Matt Hasselbeck, we haven't seen him hanging on to the football. I mean, he's been getting rid of it. He has not hung on to the football. He's been trying to go through his reads and has not had time to do it when things have gone bad. And there's Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator, once again. That's, defensive coordinators love first and 29s.
Yeah, they're calling it the first and 30 where they have a position. A little problem with the game clock. Now that is straightened out, and so Hasselbeck against the all-out rush of the Raiders, ready to throw the ball. Swings it out near side. This is Sean Alexander. Last time he had it, he fumbled it, protects the ball, and he gets out to the 48-yard line where Reagan Upshaw gets him down after a gain of 6 yards.
In this Raiders defense, you see when Sean Alexander catches it, he's got a lot of space to work, but the speed of the Raider defense just closes so fast. All of a sudden, there are 3 guys there, and that's what happens when you play a team that takes pride in its defense. They draft for speed, for speed, for speed. They've got great cornerbacks that can close, and it shows. The guy may be open for a minute, but it doesn't last.
No, it's a very aggressive attacking defense the Raiders employ. Second down and 24. Here's the throw as Hasselbeck is hit just as he releases the ball. They come on a strong safety blitz with number 23, Marquez Pope.
That's why you hope Matt Hasselbeck can finish this season. Watch Marquez Pope, bang! Goes for the arm, tries to make a bad throw. This ball is up fluttering into the secondary. That's what you want in a safety. You want a guy that when he gets a chance to make a tackle or to rush the passer, he makes it count. And Marquez Pope came from nowhere right into Hasselbeck's face.
Hit him hard. Worst case scenario for the Seahawks. Without their great runner Waters with a shoulder injury. Down by 17. They've got a throw, and look at that throw downfield as the ball is completed to Bobby Ingram. Corey James and Charles Woodson knocked him out of bounds. It is a 16-yard game, but that still brings up long yardage.
That shows you something. Matt Hasselbeck got hit in the mouth a play ago, comes back, stands in, and gets this ball out to Ingram right there, working on Torrey James. Great route, and that's a heck of a throw after just getting your head taken off in a blitz.
It was. John Gruden saying this is a league where you don't set long-term goals and you don't think about yesterday. You better focus on right now or you'll get your bell rung.
Exactly right. This is a long field goal attempt here.
53 yards. Ball is on the way, and it is no good. So Ryan Lindell, who's hit 4 or 5 field goals this season, and he hit his only 50-yard try. Misses that time from 53.
You can chalk up that attempt to the good play that Matt Hasselbeck made to get him into field goal range. It was a long attempt, but they had no chance 2 plays before that, and Rich Gannon's tearing it up.
Rich Gannon, a very confident guy. Had his trade a long time. Fires the ball downfield. The first catch of the day for Tim Brown, his 12th catch of the year. It's good for 19 yards and a Raider first down.
All right, I'll tell you what. Timmy Brown came back, and they talked about this off the field. Watch as Tim Brown comes off. He's not trying to go deep. Watch, he's looking back. He's waiting. He wants to stop right there. He knows that pass is coming behind him. That's a thing where the receiver comes back and says, hey, we can get him on the short comeback. If you just throw it behind me on the go route, I got it.
Takes a well-thrown ball, though, and it was right where it had to be.
It takes some experience at receiver to call that, too.
Gannon in his 14th year stands in again. He's got time. Sidearms the ball. Tyrone Wheatley breaks it inside the 30. He's down close to the 28-yard line. Levon Kirkland gets him out of bounds, but he does it 11 yards downfield. First down Raiders. 3:02 left to play. First half.
You see Tyrone Wheatley come out here running to the sideline. And that's Levon Kirkland. One of the things that teams think, if Levon Kirkland, who is really built like, caught the ball and made him pay.
Wheatley, a power back with speed. Coming off his best season. Hand off. Here is Garner, so very quick. Charlie Garner breaking tackles and taking it inside the 15-yard line. Reggie Tung, the strong safety, finally got him out of bounds, but Garner with all those change of pace moves. And then acceleration as he runs ahead for a gain of 13 yards.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks defense has improved from a year ago, but I'll tell you what, they don't look like it today. The Raiders are absolutely dictating everything that happens on this side of the football. Charlie Garner's catching it. He's running with it. Tyrone Wheatley's doing the same, and Rich Gannon is finding the wide receivers and spreading it around. They look so smooth today.
This is the Raiders' last game for a couple of weeks. They have the bye week coming up, and then they go to Indianapolis. Oh, almost a pick by Levon Kirkland. As the sidearm pass caroms off the arms of Charlie Garner. Big Levon Kirkland, a longtime Steeler, 9 years with the Steelers, who said yesterday to us, we think we're going to win this game.
Yeah, they really do. They come in every week thinking they're going to win, but this Rich Gannon here, he's going to come to the 2-minute warning. Everything's being dictated by the guys in the black jerseys right now.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Steve, when Mike Holmgren takes his team to the locker room, you got to go to the drawing board. How do you come back in this?
Well, you just got to focus on getting better and maintaining. You got to make sure you win every play. Don't think about the big picture. Just win the play that you're going to snap next.
Right now, it's the Raiders snapping next on second down and 10. Gruden sidearms the ball, and Jerry Rice has his second touchdown of the Raiders. 14-yarder. Mike Holmgren seems to come apart again as the rookie corner, Ken Lucas, who they say has a chance to be terrific, but not yet.
Well, you got a first-year quarterback, and the good news is if you're that kid, you know, if you're Ken Lucas, you think, all right, I'm playing in the NFL. The bad news is you line up one-on-one with Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice running the slant, and Ken Lucas is just outmatched. Jerry Rice in that offense, it's over.
Extra point is slammed up and through. And so the Raiders, on a big day in Oakland, build a 24-0 lead. They'll kick off again in a moment. Jerry Rice having another good day. He's had 17 seasons of good days. Here is the kickoff return, and man, Rodgers comes up the middle, and he is driven back on a driving hit. And coming out to get him is Travian Smith, the backup linebacker, 53.
The Raiders have dominated on all three sides of the ball, and Jerry Rice is a beneficiary of that. 2 touchdowns today, 5 receptions. The first week, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown both had 8 catches. Last week, Tim Brown had 3, Jerry had 1. And they're back in the saddle today.
And interesting, Steve, you know, Mike Holmgren, all the coaches for the Seahawks, Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator, they said, we know they're going to run it at us. Well, the Oakland Raiders have only run the ball 8 times in this game. They've thrown it 23 times, and the Gannon's hit 15 of 23 for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's a good
Jerry Rice.
I'm sorry, Don. That's a good game plan to come in and do exactly the opposite of what they expect.
It's been a great game plan. Here's another blitz. They get Hasselbeck, and that is Woodson. 3rd sack of Hasselbeck as Woodson gets his 2nd. The great one from Michigan, who many feel is emerging as the best cornerback in the NFL.
Well, he's certainly up there, and that's his goal for the year. He wants to be the best. He wants people to talk about him as being the guy. You see there, that's the same spot that Marquez Pope got a good hit on Hasselbeck a moment ago. They just ran it with a different guy, and Woodson, they say, has really applied himself. This is his year to emerge, and he's done everything he can to make it happen.
Officially, he's only credited with 1 sack, but he's been in there 3 times on cornerback blitzes. Timing throw nicely done as the ball is triggered out on a slant pattern to Bobby Ingram, and he is out across the 25-yard line for a gain of 9 yards on the play, but it was on a 2nd and 16, so it's now 3rd and 7. There is Trent Dilfer, who quarterbacked the Ravens to a Super Bowl championship, and then they thanked him by waving him.
Yes, thanks for your years of service. Goodbye.
There is Dilfer. Says he wants to have his greatest season, the greatest year of his life for the Seahawks, but he's not been on the field yet. But I don't know if anybody quarterback can do anything with his all-out blitz coming through.
Well, there was some controversy in Seattle last week when the fans, when Hasselbeck struggled, they were chanting for Dilfer, and obviously a lot was made of the fact that Mike Holmgren came to the defense of his young quarterback, Hasselbeck, and said, hey, you're the guy, and you're going to stay in there.
Hasselbeck and Dilfer, that's comforting to have a guy with that much experience. Jim Zorn is in the green shirt. He's the former Seahawks standout, the quarterback coach. Trent Dilfer, #1 draft choice of Tampa Bay back in '94, the 6th pick overall out of Fresno State, 6 seasons there.
You got to tip your hat to him. I mean, this is a guy that came out as a very highly touted rookie and struggled in Tampa Bay and has struggled since. But you know what? He's hung with it. He got a ring in Baltimore. He is what he is. He doesn't make any apologies for it. He doesn't have anything left to prove. He's quarterbacked a Super Bowl team. And I think he's the perfect guy to sit there and watch Matt Hasselbeck and help him develop.
3rd down comes up. 3rd down and 6 where it's spotted. Here's a throw near side and very nearly another pick. As Robinson, the rookie, had it skip off his hands, and Torrey James was right there but couldn't hold on.
Well, this will make your heart jump a beat if you're a quarterback. You throw this right out here and have your receiver just pop it, and it pops almost right into his hands. How do you miss that? And he ends up on the ground once again, does Hasselbeck.
And again, the Seahawks call on their punter, Jeff Fiegels. With just 50 seconds to play now in the first half. The Raiders with a commanding 24-0 lead. Ball hit downfield. Taken straight ahead to the 40-yard line. Kazavinsky again comes down and makes a hard hit. Grossman, the quarterback for Florida, is emerging as a great player. 3 straight 300-plus yard passing days. absolutely tore up Mississippi State yesterday as the Gators won 52-0. Sidearm throw, a thing of beauty, right on target and ahead. The reception is good for a 7-yard gain to Randy Jordan, number 28, coming out of the backfield.
Now he's going to, Gannon's giving the signal to spike it, and he takes the shot down the field. That's a good play. Can't get out of bounds though, can't Tim Brown. Now they take the timeout. This is the 2 minute. This is less than a minute to go here. 16 seconds left. What they're thinking now is perhaps getting close enough for a field goal.
Mike Holmgren takes off the headset as we see the Seattle Seahawks still have not scored a touchdown in almost 10 quarters of football this season.
And they're looking at not getting out of their own end in the second half. The Raiders have blitzed them mercilessly now that they've got the big lead. And Ricky Waters is out of the game. They've got no reason to lay back. Matt Hasselbeck's going to be on the ground more than a garden rake.
You know, he's been not Matt's fault. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is when he's had some time, he's completed 10 of 18 for 113 yards.
He's absolutely getting pounded in there, and they are blitzing him out, and that's one of the things you do to a young quarterback. You blitz him a lot, and Matt Hasselbeck right now has no place to go with the football.
Raiders do, though. Gannon looking deep, steps up in, shuffles it ahead, and it's incomplete. Is it a fumble? It is. It's a turnover, and the Seahawks get the ball, but there's only 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left to go, and the Seahawks do have 2 timeouts.
And Chalky, there's a good pass rush by the Seahawks with their front 4. John Randall coming right up on the spin move on Wisniewski, gets through, and that ball is fumbled. That's a good play by John Randall. Making that play, give him his team a chance maybe to get one play and then try the field goal or go for broke in a Hail Mary pass.
Well, with 2 timeouts, he's got a chance to use the whole field on a pass play down and try to set up a long field goal. There's John Gruden, one of the 50 most beautiful people.
Yeah.
According to People magazine.
His players were teasing him about being in the top 50. He said, "Don't tease me. I'd have been in the top 10 if it weren't hanging around with you guys."
Right. They tell him he was in the top 50 because of them, and he said, "No, I'd be top 10 without you guys." He's got that scowl in mid-season form.
And now this is under review. This is from upstairs in the official booth. They're the ones who called for this review.
Last 2 minutes of a half. It's out of the coach's hands to call for a replay.
Now watch right here as he steps up. John Randall right to the right of him will come around and slap the ball. Oh, that's a fumble. There's no question about it. They allow him 90 seconds. Once he looks into the visor, that you'll see he has 90 seconds to make his decision. This should take all of about 3. That ball's out before Rich Gannon even brings his arm back.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is a fumble. First down, Seattle.
And that's the proper call.
No, but with just 10 seconds left, Hasselbeck sends out wide receivers, double sets to each side. They're keeping one guy in, though, because these blitzers have been tearing at him. You got to keep a blocker in. Hasselbeck stands in, and the incomplete pass comes with 5 seconds left. Trace Armstrong, and they were worried about him. He comes hard again.
And they had 2 guys on him. They had 2 guys trying to block Trace Armstrong. He did the up and under move and came through. And Mike Holmgren can't be happy about that. You assign 2 guys to back in the tackle to block Trace Armstrong. Neither one of them gets it done, and they end up throwing a meaningless pass into the dirt. That guy they brought over from the Miami Dolphins led the league in sacks a year ago as a specialist. Didn't play all that much. Was not an every down player. And that's exactly what the Raiders need. They need a role player to get in there, put some pressure on the passer.
He's strictly a situational player, but what a pass rusher. 16.5 sacks last season. Throw and a catch. And Ingram takes it down. And did they get the timeout called? Looks like they got a second left.
No,
well, let's see.
There's some controversy.
The Raiders are leaving. Seahawks are hoping.
Timeout with 1 second left on the clock.
The Raiders have to come back.
They're going to call back now.
The clock running out. The Seattle timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Now that's a 1 second on the clock, and it looked like they got it called. Watch. We'll get a look here and see if the clock does run out before the play is called. Watch here.
Be a long field goal attempt over 50 yards.
You see there, the players will start calling timeout before the play's even dead. There he is. Yeah, he's got his arms up. That was a good call. 1 second left.
So here's Ryan Lindell, field goal kicker from Washington State. Signed after 4 games last season and had a great year. Hit 15 of 17.
This is going to be a 55-yarder, maybe a 56-yarder.
Probably Lindell missing one long one today from 53 yards out.
I don't think he's got the leg for this, Don. This is just a wing and a prayer. You just hope as a Seahawk you don't want this blocked.
Well, he hit a 51-yarder on opening day to win at Cleveland 9-6. This is 55 yards. Ball's on the way. He spins it up, and it's not going to get there.
Not off the dirt, Don.
Makes a difference, huh? That's the end of the first half with the score: Oakland 24, Seattle nothing. Akron, Oakland. The Raiders are in command, 24-0 at the half. Don Prigge with Steve Tasker. This is the home debut of Jerry Rice as a Raider, and what a day it's been. 5 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What a coming out party. He told us on Friday, I really want to score my first touchdown as a Raider. Well, he scored his first one and his second one here in the opening moments, right down the seam in the middle of the football field, right into the black hole here in the Coliseum. And then, how about this, 17 years of experience on a rookie and into the other end of the stadium. They're throwing beer on him. They're having fun. They're patting him on the head. Jerry Rice is now an Oakland Raider. And there are the stats right there. The only one that really means anything is the one right at the top. The Raiders have dominated in every phase, and I think the most important thing to remember is their pass rush has really dominated that whole side of the football. The Seattle Seahawks can't get anything going. Their best player, Ricky Waters, is out, and that has killed them.
And the bad news started early when Waters went out. It was interesting watching last couple of days Jerry Rice at practice. I mean, the thing that maybe stands out about him most, he always has a smile on his face. He just loves it.
Yeah, and you know, everybody you talk to in the Raiders, they all watch him. You know, he's the greatest guy in his position probably to ever play
without question
in the game. And everybody watches how he does it, and they shake their heads at how hard he works. In 17 years, they've never seen anybody like him, and I think John Gruden said it. Maybe there's a reason he's so good.
He sets the pace, and here's the kickoff, comes short, and it's picked up by Charlie Rogers, but he runs into a world of trouble. So even when the kickoffs aren't good, they don't work out for Seattle. Since Ricky Waters went out with that shoulder injury, and they had ice on it in the first quarter, and he's not been back.
Well, he's the one guy they could count on, Don, and there you see it. There's the score. When he came out, it was 0-0. And now that they've given up 3 touchdowns, they had total yards of 86. And things have just gone downhill. When your heart and soul is out of the game, you can feel the air leave. And that's what happened to the Seahawks very early in this one.
You have to win, said Al Davis, and win the Raiders are. And now young Matt Hasselbeck, 26 years old, up against it. Having to keep in tight ends in to block. They send blitzers. They pick it up. There's a good throw in the flat, but Corn Robinson can't hold on to it. So he came in a little low. Eric Gannon, a 14-year veteran. They've been talking yesterday they're going to work on him, but he worked on them today when he ran back a fumble for a touchdown.
That's exactly right. You know, we've been discussing it up here. You know, Matt Hasselbeck is a young guy, and the one thing they say is he needs some confidence. And you see there, 11 for 21, and he has been pounded today. And we've been having the big discussion up here. Do you leave him in? Do you let him stay in there and shake his confidence? Or do you let him learn from it? And I say, hey, leave him in, let him learn.
I don't think they're shaking his confidence at all. He's been very effective when he's had a chance to look downfield. He doesn't look reticent at all. But he is under a deluge of rushers.
And that was a broken play. He turned to his right to hand the football off, and Sean Alexander went left. He handed it off, and there was nobody there to give it to. And you can't do that. I mean, you want to know why you're looking at 24-0. He's got nothing there to do, and that's, you know, we may never know whether that was his fault or the back's fault. But that was a huge mistake, and it just continues to compound for the Seattle offense.
Yeah, that's the 5th sack of Matt Hasselbeck. He was sacked 7 times last week by the Eagles. So a bad situation spirals down and gets worse. 3rd down and 16. get him at the 1-yard line. William Thomas. They are absolutely ineffective pass blocking. The Raider pass rushers overwhelming the blocking front of Seattle.
You can do that when you've got the best cornerbacking group in the league. You get Eric Allen and Charles Woodson on the outside. They can cover one-on-one. You've got extra guys to send after Matt Hasselbeck, and when an offensive line is already struggling, that spells doom.
And it will be the short snap. It's only going to be about an 11-yarder. They're like 15 on the punt. Eagles at the back of his end zone. Can't step on the line, or it's a safety. He gets a great punt off. Driving David Dunn back to his 43. To the 50. 45. Finds the channel, and big David Dunn takes it down the sideline and is knocked out of bounds by Kashavinsky. But the Raiders' first possession of the third quarter will be in excellent field position as they have command of the game. Hasselbeck goes to the safety of the sidelines for the moment. Raiders had only 216 yards offense at Miami last week. They had 239 against the Seahawks in the first half. Gannon, he wants more. He's got a guy out there, Tim Brown. Turns around the rookie, Ken Lewis. Find a weakness and hit on it, and that's what the Raiders are doing.
Yeah, they got in trouble last week. Their offense really went into a shell in the second half. Didn't make any third downs. Couldn't convert on third down. Now they are keeping their foot on the gas pedal here today at home against these Seahawks. They're not going to let up at all here in the second half. They want more, and I think that's the best way to play football.
Well, they're playing about as good as you can play. There's Tim Brown. Phenomenal player. Amazing body control. A Heisman Trophy winner in 1987 at Notre Dame. As good as he's ever been. Now give up the middle, and shooting through a gaping hole is Ty Wheatley for a gain of 7 yards. Wednesday in an amazing race to the end zone for the Raiders, and they look like too much is not enough today. There's no nice guy out in this league.
Yeah, you're right. The way in the league goes, if you don't want to get beat like this, get better.
You're going to get a lot better. Here's Wheatley. He's caught and knocked down. A driving tackle put on. Chad Eaton and John Randall combine on the stop.
Tackle by Chad Eaton. John Randall also in on the tackle. Stop for no gain.
Tyrone Wheatley, in his 7th year from Michigan, a guy who really hits the gap hard. The Raiders over the years have gotten so many good players who were number ones that didn't work out at other teams. And Al Locasale of the Raiders was telling us yesterday that they look for players that they liked out of college, that they didn't draft, didn't get to, and players who are still healthy when they're waived. That's what their criteria is for draft. They're signing these guys. Here's Gannon up the middle, and he goes down to the goal line, and he's in. 5-yard touchdown run. Holmgren and his defense powerless to stop it.
That was a called quarterback draw. It killed them last week in Miami. They said, hey, if it worked against us, let's see if it works in our favor. Jay Fiedler killed them on this play a week ago, and now they use it to put another nail in the coffin of the Seahawks here today.
Extra point. Boomed up and through. The opposing coaches watching from the sideline. John Gruden, business as usual. Thank you. Mike Holmgren, not again. Back to Oakland, where things are good for the Raiders and their fans. 31-0. The Raiders just scoring their first rushing touchdown of this season. On a 5-yard quarterback keep up the middle by Rich Gannon. Now, in his wisdom, Rodgers elects not to bring it out from his end zone because he's had no success getting it out. The coaching tree of Mike Holmgren is extensive.
Well, these are all guys that are head coaches now that worked for him. And it goes all the way across both conferences. John Gruden here today across the sidelines getting the better of his old boss. And Mike Holmgren, you know, we thought about, you know, if you're 31-0, these guys are good friends as well, John Gruden and Mike Holmgren. Do you rub it in on your coach? And I thought, you know what, you're not really worried about rubbing it in on him, but you got your own team to worry about.
You got to play your best 60 minutes. There's a run by Sean Alexander as he turns the corner. They have to start running the ball. They can't expose this kid like this.
That's exactly right.
Denver and Baltimore having a big game at the new Mile High. Let's go to Jim Nance in New York. Jim?
All right, thank you, Don. The Ravens have come back to tie this now in the third quarter. Gerback to Kadri Ismail from 20 yards. 13 all. Third quarter. Let's go back to Don and Steve.
Ravens coming off the loss. I tell you, there's some rising teams, though. The Cleveland Browns, how about them going down and they're shutting out Jacksonville in Florida. Jaguars will be going to Seattle next Sunday. They'll be in ill humor when they get there. They lose that one to Cleveland, a team they absolutely embarrassed last year. Hasselbeck's throw. Knocked around. It's intercepted. And it's going to be returned to the 15-yard line. Roderick Coleman tipped. It looked like Chris Cooper, 75, intercepted it.
Well, I'm doing my best, Don, to figure out something that could go worse on a play like that, and I can't think of a worse scenario.
Never rains in California, but it's pouring on the Seahawks offense.
Exactly right. That ball gets tipped. Hasselbeck does the right thing. He tries to bat it down. And there's Cooper picking up right there. Now he sees it up. He knows he's got to get at the pass, a live ball. He tries to bat it, bats it right into Cooper's face. And he has the presence of mind. Now Hasselbeck ends up making the tackle on his own throw. Not the thing a quarterback wants to do. The Raiders front four and front seven actually are really dominating the game.
Chris Cooper, a rookie from Nebraska, Omaha, with a big moment. Now the Raiders with the huge lead, looking to build on it right up the middle. Tyrone Wheatley slams at the Seattle defense and takes it down to the 9-yard line where Mike Sinclair, number 70, brings him down, but it's a 7-yard gain.
Earlier in the first half, we saw Charlie Garner, be the guy catching passes, doing all kinds of stuff. Now, when you got the game on, it's 31-0, and you're in the second half. Just hand it to the big man, 6 foot, 235 pounds. Let Tyrone Wheatley pound it between the tackles. These two teams play later on in the season, and you want to give them something to remember. The passing game, the running game, pound it and make it hurt, make them remember.
They're giving them something to forget. It's a nightmare. Second down, handoff. Wheatley takes a look. Good defensive play as Chad Brown sheds a blocker and makes the tackle. This is his 5th year at Seattle after starting his career with the Steelers. Excellent outside linebacker came in this day, leading the NFL in sacks with 4 through the first 2 games.
That guy can rush the passer. He's very fast, and he's got a knack for it. They say, what's a good passer? Well, he's big. No, it's just a knack you have to get by a big guy and get your hand on the guy with the football, and Chad Brown is able to do it, and he's been doing it for a while.
And Trent Dilfer is looking like he's going to the mound now, getting ready to come in. Gannon on the run, takes a look. And he's down inside the 5-yard line. Rich Gannon's ahead for a first down. It's 1st and goal after a 6-yard run. Chad Brown saved the touchdown hit for the moment.
Every year of Rich Gannon's career that he's had here in Oakland, he's ran the ball more and more and more. And I think a lot of times it has to do with the fact he feels confident. But now this year, I don't know if he's going to run it as much as he did last year. He's a smart runner. As you can see there, he gets down, doesn't take a big hit, still gets the first down. Look at Gruden. He's like, I don't want my guy to get hurt. They need Rich Gannon. But Rich Gannon, there's no let up in him. He's a go-getter.
Funny game. Last week, Gruden and the Raiders had 60 minutes of root canal down in Miami. It was just a brutal game in the heat. Today, it's like a scrimmage against the B team. Garner runs.
Garner with the carry.
As the Raiders now looking to run some clock and perhaps get out of here. They've already got this game well in hand.
And Adam True getting the lid lifted there, down on the pile. But you're right. I mean, this is a game that the Raiders, you can't get enough of. Mo Collins stayed down.
Mo Collins, 4th-year guard out of Florida. Shaken up on the play, so the clock is stopped with 8:10 to go in the third quarter. Good to see that big Mo Collins, a 325-pound guard for the Raiders, walked off under his own power. So having an ankle looked at. Second down and goal from the 3. Gannon falls down, gets up, throws the ball. It's tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
Well, that's as bad as the Raiders have looked at any point today. So Lincoln Kennedy mixing it up there, and that's 77. Darrell Ashmore is in for Mo Collins on this play. This is a replay. Watch Gannon. He'll get stepped on. His foot will get stepped on right there by Adam True. That's a new center today. He gets up, has the presence of mind, knows he's not down, then tries to make the play, then gets hit from behind. And that's and there you have it. That's the low light for the Raiders today.
Boy, there's been very few, as Rich Gannon, who will be 37 years old in December. He was 6-7 as a starter in his first 13 starts as a Raider, but over the last 24, 18-6. Heading towards 19-6. He takes a look. Still has the great feet that buys time and second chances. Tyrone Wheatley, and he goes in. Three-yard touchdown pass.
That's yet another sign of a good offense that they've got running here in Oakland. Rich Gannon buys time with his legs. Tyrone Wheatley goes out, checks out to block, and when the defensive lineman gets around him, he doesn't stay down on the ground. He gets up, gives Gannon an outlet. By that time, everybody's forgotten about him. He's got a free run to the end zone, pounding it in over the top. That's two players that are just staying alive and being pros.
Gannon, his third touchdown pass of the day. The other two were to Jerry Rice, and it's now 38-0. High 70s and sunny in Northern California as the Oakland Raiders, after that tough loss last week at Miami, roar back this week. And there is number 4, Trent Dilfer, 8-year veteran from Fresno State. Looks like he's going to come in to run the offense as Hasselbeck will give way to the backup, the veteran backup. And again, the huge kickoff by Janikowski, who has really emerged in his second year as an overpowering kicker, both in his field goals and his kickoffs. He was a #1 draft choice. That gets a high five from Coach John Gruden. Here comes Trent Dilfer, who said that the biggest thing he can do as the backup is be Matt Hasselbeck's biggest fan and work with him. And he said, Dilfer, I want to give the Seahawks the best year of my career. Not happy over the way he was dismissed by the Ravens after he quarterbacked a Super Bowl win. Handoff. Straight ahead give to Sean Alexander. Seahawks season, the numbers show they're mired in deep trouble early on.
I think it all starts. They haven't had a TD yet this year. And also in the last 100, that goes back to last season. But I think it all starts up front. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is dropping back. And today especially, he's had guys in his face, been running for his life, and been on the ground more than he's been on his feet. And that starts with those guys up front.
There's a throw in the flat. Alexander gets it, but he's quickly taken down. As coming up to get him, Eric Barton is on the pass rush, and Marquez Polk was on the tackle. As we're going to head now back to New York and to Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, we're in New York, but we're going to actually go down the coast to San Diego, where the Chargers have come up with 2 touchdowns here in a short span in the third quarter, both by LaDainian Tomlinson. This one from 2 yards out to break a 7-7 halftime score. 21-7 now, Don.
Unbelievable. Who'd have thunk it? Here's the Chargers off to a 3-0 start. And they haven't been in a game yet, although they didn't actually face a murderer's row to start out. And that's true. Kansas City and Dallas. Dropping to throw is Dilfer. He gets away from the rush. Time to count the house. There goes the long ball. Darrell Jackson goes up and comes down with it at the 30-yard line. Finally, a highlight. Finally, a highlight for Seattle, but wait out. Elijah Alexander really drilled Trent Dilfer as he released the ball, and Dilfer's down, so
Matt Hasselbeck on only a temporary reprieve.
It's a 54-yard gain around the play, but Dilfer's down. Brock Heward could be coming in. He's the third quarterback.
Number 58 defense. Helmet to the head.
You can see there, way down in the background of this replay, you can see Dilfer down on the ground already. And you'll watch here, this is it. Now watch as he plans to throw. He's got lots of time. He buys it himself. Now watch, this is when the defense really gets ahead of steam because they've got a long way to run and they don't stop when they get there. Yeah, that's a knockout shot there. You can't do that to the quarterback. Alexander will probably get fined for that later on. But, you know, it's...
But in the context of the game, what is it, 15 yards, so what?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
A brutal hit like that.
He got his bell rung. He's still, here it is again. He's going to let it go, and Alexander's going to come right up under the chin. You see his head go.
So Matt Hasselbeck enters the game, re-enters it now with his best field position of the day with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Chad Eaton is a tough guy. I don't know if he's saying something to one of the Raiders.
He's asking, how many fingers am I holding up?
Crowd standing, really bringing it. They want a shutout. Previous worst loss of the Seahawks to the Raiders was back in '77, 44-7. Hasselbeck throws a nice screen. Sean Alexander cuts back, turns wide, turns up, and gets down inside the 10-yard line. Run out of bounds by Grady Jackson. 6-yard gain on the play. And Matt Hasselbeck comes up with a little gimp.
Yeah. Grady Jackson staying down there on the far sideline now. Yeah, and this is what we were talking about earlier. And I had said, you know, you should leave Hasselbeck in, let him play, let him get his win, you know, let him learn from the trials and tribulations of a young quarterback. But now you can see as this game is 38-0, things start to happen on both sides.
5:36 left to go in the third quarter. Oakland by a 38-0 count. Monday on CBS, the King of Queens surprises his wife with a birthday present she will never forget. You'll have to see it to believe it. What is Kevin James as the King of Queens up to next? It's always a lot of fun. That's Monday on CBS. Ball positioned at the 9-yard line. And Trent Dilfer took a shot right under the chin.
Yeah, they're checking his eyes, checking the dilation of his pupils, and giving him the, you know, everything they can do to test how he really is right now. But the game goes on.
People leaving early, but as the penalty markers go down, the snap of the ball never came.
And a 6 yards on the previous play.
5:21 to go in the third quarter. Raiders, as we mentioned, with a 1-1 record, and there is John Gruden, their 38-year-old head coach, who took a team in '98. His first year at 4-12.
Zone infraction, 90 defense. After distance from the goal by measurement, it's a first down.
John Gruden, first year as the coach of the Raiders, they were 4-12 last year. They were 12-4 AFC Western Division champions, routed Miami in a playoff game, a divisional game, then lost to Baltimore as the Ravens headed to the Super Bowl.
And I'll tell you what, his players love playing for him. They practice hard for him. They respect him. And that's saying something with a Raider team that has a reputation for being a little bit wild and loose.
Sean Alexander on first and goal turns it up, and he goes in standing up. So the Seahawks are on the board as a 4-yard touchdown run by Sean Alexander, the big back from Alabama, the #1 draft choice of the Seahawks back in 2000. Big and very fast, and he showed it there, bouncing outside and getting into the end zone.
And you wonder, is Hasselbeck limping off the field, still jogging? Don't know the extent of his injury or the pain or exactly what the problem is. But maybe that's one of the reasons Trent Dilfer was in to begin with. And the problem is they probably didn't want to put Heward in, because if they put Heward in, nobody else can play quarterback.
Ryan Lindell gets the point after he missed 2 50-yard plus field goal tries today. Gets the extra point, and the Seahawks are finally on the board. Detroit, Kansas City's now 1-2, Minnesota 1-2. I think Tennessee is going to be in there. I think Minnesota might be. Here is David Dunn picking up the kickoff. He quickly catches a tackler and is knocked down by a wave of pursuers led by Fabian Bones. Good to see that Trent Dilfer's up and all right, talking to his coach.
He's like, how we doing, coach? I can't really remember the last 5 minutes. Did I score? And he's like, Homer's like, get out of my face. You're done. And he pats him on the stomach here. Says, thanks for the help. They gave him the biggest play of the day, and you see there, ice in the jaw. And after that big-time hit that Elijah Alexander put on him out of the pocket.
Word for him that he did suffer possibly a mild concussion, Trent Dilfer, so he won't play again today. Now let's see what Rich, while he was in there, though, he completed 2 of 2 for 49 yards. Wheatley. Okay, this Seattle defense still hitting hard. It's given up some big plays. Really critical early in the game, though, is the 2 fumbles. The fumble on a kick return by Charlie Rogers. Fumble by running back Sean Alexander, which were quickly converted into points.
Yeah, that started the fall. And the Raiders, I think, conversely, the Raiders capitalized. They went in, got the quick field goal off the first fumble by Charlie Rogers right there. But then the second one from Sean Alexander turned into a touchdown. And then, that's a 10-point swing plus 2 series that the offense doesn't get a chance to work. And it was all downhill from there for the Raiders.
Double touch, looks like a run on 2nd down and 5. The run it is, and the handoff is to Ty Wheatley. And he gets the ball advances about 2 yards.
And there's another story of the day. Ricky Waters, in a rare instance where he could not finish a football game. There's a guy that does not leave a game. But today he left early, and it cost his team.
Gannon side-arming the ball, incomplete on 3rd down and 2. Shooting at Tim Brown. Raiders will punt the ball.
This is exactly the kind of thing that happened to them in Miami a week ago. They started out, they had a big lead, and then they couldn't make first downs. They came out and were kind of nonchalant through the second half. It cost them. It's not going to cost them here today. But their defense is certainly going to have a trying 4th quarter because it looks like they're going to be out there for a while.
Charlie Rogers out there now, backed up for the punt. Leckler booms it, and he can hit the ball. Inside the 15-yard line. What a punt. Here comes Rogers. Turning wide. Beats 2 tacklers. Turns the corner. Penalty marker thrown. Rarely is there a long kick return without a marker, huh, Steve?
Yeah, it's almost a given. It came in.
63-yard punt.
Huge punt. There's actually 2 markers down.
There is no foul on the play. First down on the 47-yard line.
Well, I wondered why there was a team meeting, and the officials looked like they gathered for a team picture there in the middle of the field, and they discussed it and said, you know what, it's 38 to 7. Let's pick that flag up and get out of here.
How about the Raiders team picture yesterday? When we were at practice yesterday, the Raiders had their team picture.
They enjoy each other, don't they?
Man, that was... They were having fun.
Yeah, that was
and hollering.
Oh yeah, it was a fun day for a team picture.
Sebastian Janikowski wanted to wear his hat backwards.
Players wouldn't let him, man.
He was voted down.
Voted down loudly.
Pitch back. Alexander stopped at the 45-yard line. Baltimore and Denver, the scoreboard changing there, and Jim Nance has the update, Jim.
And the change there, Don, is made by the Ravens. Gerback to Travis Taylor for the lead. These guys who wear number 89 know how to make big plays, don't they, Don? Steve?
Steve, as you said that, Jim, Steve Tasker pumped a fist in the air.
That's right.
That was your number.
That's right.
But I noticed the last time I saw the Bills, they had not yet retired it.
Yeah, they'll hand that out to anybody these days.
They washed it.
They're trying to make them forget me.
2nd down and 12. Hasselbeck throwing downfield. And in San Diego, the numbers are changing on the board as we go back to Jim in New York.
All right, San Diego's in the end zone again, and for the 3rd time in the second half, LaDainian Tomlinson scores a touchdown. The rookie has 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chargers have broken it open. Let's go back to you, Don.
Thank you, Jim. I'll tell you, LaDainian Tomlinson, when they got him in the combine, he ran like 4'4" at 227 pounds. But they give him the ball. I mean, he's going to have over 300 carries this year.
Yeah, he was a great pickup, and I'll tell you what, that can make a difference on a team, especially with a quarterback like Doug Flutie.
Nice play by Hasselbeck, backing up. He gets the ball to Sean Alexander, and he's ahead for a first down to the 41-yard line.
And Hasselbeck lost that same shoe again in that struggle. Now he's got to get that tied and get the play clock and get it off, but look at it.
He's going to go shoeless.
But he can't play this. This is a great play. He's got guys breathing out his neck. This is planned. He's supposed to let them all come in and rush him. He goes down again. The shoe comes off. Shoeless Matt Hasselbeck. Once again, lost it twice today. And he's trying to call the play and tie his shoe at the same time. I don't know. Chew gum and walk and throw.
He's got a sprained calf, but he's got to stay in there because if they bring Heward in, that means Hasselbeck can't come back in. And now they go to Sean Alexander. I tell you, there's no quit in these Seahawks. They keep attacking, even though they got a long way to go to even get back in this game.
It's getting longer now with today, and as you look at the AFC West standings, Denver on top actually just fell behind Baltimore, so Oakland could jump back into the thick of it. But San Diego, the Chargers, the absolute worst team in football last year, is going to go 3-0 and be in top of that division at this early stage at the quarter mark of the season.
That's huge. Not quite the quarter mark, but it still makes it a 13-game season. Here's a throw, and it's just overshot. As Itula Mealy, the big tight end from BYU, couldn't get a hand on it. Travian Smith, number 53, guy loves to play the game from Oklahoma. Tremendous special teams player, linebacker.
And the one thing that year in, year out, year after year describes the Raider team is speed. At the linebacker, especially defensively, they can run with you. And Matt Hasselbeck, as he gets older and ages in this league, he'll learn more and more about how to attack that speed in the defense of the Raiders. He's just going to need a little more help to do it.
Now it's 3rd and 5. Hasselbeck, here comes Trace Armstrong. Hasselbeck throws, and there's a foul on the defense, it would look like, and there's the penalty marker.
Yeah, that was an obvious one. Torrey James grabbed on. He was beaten, and he was going to run by the receiver, just reached out, grabbed the waist to keep himself from getting any separation. And the ball was in the air already there. You and I both saw the same thing.
Pass interference, number 20 defense. Holding, number 75 offense. Penalties offset. Repeat 3rd down.
We didn't. I think what you said earlier, Steve, is first we'll watch this play over about John Gruden saying Holmgren knows quarterbacks. If he thinks Hasselbeck can be good, he can be good.
Yeah, and he said he knows firsthand that Holmgren is a quarterback guru, and he says, I don't even have to see the kid play. If Mike says he's good, I believe him. And there's Hasselbeck taking a shot in the back from Trace Armstrong. And it has been a very, very rough afternoon for Matt Hasselbeck. As you can see there, he's been knocked down 14 times.
Pitch back. Walker's in front. Good-looking play. And then the Raiders safeties come up on Sean Alexander. And more markers are down on the field with 31 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Hasselbeck has thrown the ball 26 times in the game. He's completed 13, 50% for 146 yards, 1 interception.
And it's going to be a hold against the Seahawks once again.
Well, the Seahawks at least are off the schneid on the touchdown count. They get their
89 offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Itula Mealy called for the hold at the tight end position. Well, it just goes from bad to worse for the Seahawks. They finally get a little something going. Make a first down or two here late in the 3rd quarter. And then all of a sudden they start to shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. And you mentioned there's Dilfer. Now, he came into the game, and when he left, we were kind of surprised that Hasselbeck came in. Or if you were surprised, you shouldn't be, because if Heward comes in, no other quarterback can play for the Seahawks that day.
Exactly. Tough call now, 3rd and 15, as the Raiders started to come, and the right tackle backed up. McIntosh. Not a thing of beauty at this point with 5 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. As Ron Blum gives us his official pronouncement.
75 offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
McIntosh, a former number 1 out of Wisconsin last year.
It's getting uglier and uglier, Don. You'll watch the movement here. You can see that Trace Armstrong outside twitched, and he's been having such a good day. You can't blame McIntosh for jumping.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with a score. Oakland 38, Seattle 7. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. With Steve Tasker, this is Don Crickey back at Network Associates Coliseum, Oakland, California. Seahawks driving, but then set back by consecutive penalties, and now they find themselves with 3rd down and 20 coming up. Keeping 2 backs in. The blitzers have been coming at Matt Hasselbeck. He fires. He's got a guy. Beautifully done. And Corin Robinson moves ahead, and he gets a 1st down. 21 yards, a combination you'll be seeing probably for years to come in Seattle. Hasselbeck to the rookie Robinson.
This is a good route. Watch him come off here. Eric Allen playing off, looking back through the receiver to the quarterback. You can see he's not watching the receiver. Oh, it's too late. When the ball's finally gone, Eric Allen can't close the distance, and Robinson just making a catch and fighting for the 1st down. Good play on 3rd and 20. They pick it up. You can't make a living doing it, but it's sure nice when it happens.
Rookie from North Carolina State. Here's Hasselbeck. Now he's in trouble, and he throws up the middle, and it's incomplete. And he's hit anyway as he releases the ball. Coming hard was Reagan Upshaw. They were knocked down to QB just as he released it. Now Hasselbeck. The report we got from the sideline is he has a strained calf. And apparently they're going to send Brock Heward in, so Hasselbeck's coming out.
Now in the 4th quarter, you can still switch quarterbacks if the 3rd quarterback comes in. It's a different thing. Hasselbeck's going to come out. And as Heward comes in, you want to talk about throwing a guy to the wolves. Well, Brock Heward just got tossed in the pit.
He didn't get too many warm-up throws. This isn't good. Hasselbeck limping off. Dilfer out with a concussion. And now Brock Heward has to go the rest of the way. Here's a handoff. Sean Alexander runs hard and gets inside the 30. 2nd down play. There is Brock Heward, 6'4", 220, a cannon arm, but limited mobility. Really a standstill passer, and is troubled by the blitz. He was the #1 prep quarterback in the country, and the Huskies got him. He went to the University of Washington.
Yeah, and there's Hasselbeck. You wonder how bad that is and how much that's going to hamper him in the weeks to come. You have to think they'll probably go with Trent Dilfer as a starter if Hasselbeck is out next week.
3rd down and 7. Heward. And Max Strong can't do anything. Fabian Smith and Anthony Dorsett combine. That brings up 4th down.
Here's the AFC West standings right now. That's not updated for today.
No, Denver's losing by 7. San Diego's winning by a lot, 28-7.
As Oakland's winning by a lot. Seattle will fall to 1 and 2.
Who'd have thunk of going into the 4th game of the season, the San Diego Chargers with an unbeaten record leading the division.
And they're going for it on 4th and 3 here, Don.
Down 38-7.
Why not?
Heward stands in, and they're going to sack him, and Brock Heward is down back at the 29-yard line. The 7th sack of the day for the Raider defense. Fabian Smith came in. Chris Cooper was also in.
Well, you mentioned it, Don. Brock Heward is not a running quarterback, so the Raiders come up high on the outside to keep him in the pocket and just wait for it to collapse.
New quarterback now in for the Raiders, a rookie from Washington, Marcus Tuiasosopo. He hands off. Running with the ball is Randy Jordan for not very much, as John Randall got him quickly. Tuiasosopo, Raiders really liked him. He was a 2nd-round draft pick, 59th player taken overall, 2-year starter for the Huskies. And of course his dad was a very good lineman, Manu Tuiasosopo, played in the NFL both for the Seahawks and the 49ers.
And Tuiasosopo has the dubious honor of being the 5th quarterback to play in this game for both teams.
Unfortunately, he's still in good health. There's his first throw, and he makes it a completion as he angles the ball over, and coming up is James Jett with the ball. A very fast James Jett.
James Jett, for the first time in his career a week ago, was deactivated, but is back in there today. Obviously not needed that much. There you get a look at the new quarterback, 6'1", 220. Not too many rookies in the National Football League get a play to take some live snaps for the Oakland Raiders. They have a long history of great veteran quarterbacks.
He went over to the Washington Cal game yesterday. Did Marcus, and now he's on the run. This is one of the reasons they liked him. He can motor, and he gets upfield and steps out of bounds deftly. Only the Heward brothers in their careers at Washington have thrown for more yards as Husky quarterbacks. And Marcus Tuiasosopo.
And you see as he drops back, you didn't see the other Raider quarterback, Rich Gannon, doing this very much. Didn't have to run very much at all. The game really, I'm telling you what, Don, they say it, it's a cliche, but it really is true. When you start taking snaps in a game, everything looks like it's on fast forward, and you're in slow motion.
And they say it really speeds up even from preseason to regular season. Then to the playoffs, it's another level.
No doubt about it. You can feel the intensity out there.
Ball hit downfield. Shane Leckler's punt will roll inside the 15-yard line and down to the 14. Word is down by Eric Johnson. Back in a moment. First down and 10. The left-hander Heward, he got a gun. Long ball, Darrell Jackson, and he comes down with it. What a play. Eric Allen was right with him stride for stride, but Darrell Jackson, who led all rookie receivers last season with 53 catches, comes down with a 44-yarder.
Great coverage here, too, by Eric Allen. Watch as he lofts this down the sideline. Sensational throw right where you need it on the sideline. 1 foot, 2 feet. Great catch. Good call by the official. Eric Allen's all over that. Look at that. If that ball's 6 inches short, it's knocked away by Eric Allen.
So a 44-yard gain. And young Brock Heward in his second year stands in again. Here's another arm on this guy. Flicks it and it goes 40 yards on a line. Tonight on this,
you never know what you're going to get every time a new quarterback comes in. They all have different strengths and weaknesses, but it's obvious that Heward's strength is in his left arm. He's got a rocket.
Well, he really's got a rocket. He's getting some time. Now he hands off, and there's not much room to work for Sean Alexander as he takes it straight ahead and is knocked down to the 40-yard line.
There's a couple of guys that have taken a pounding today. Trent Dilfer there on the left with the towel over his head, a mild concussion. And Brock Heward, who has, that guy's been on the ground as much as a lawnmower.
I think he played an admirable game.
He really did.
Hasselbeck.
He really did. Hasselbeck played. He didn't do much offensively, but I'll tell you what, he stood in there in the face of an intense rush and he played.
Completed half his throws, 14 of 28 for 167 yards. This ball comes in high as Heward unloads, looking for Corin Robinson, who's had somewhat of a coming out day as a receiver.
Well, he said he had a rocket, but it's not a guided missile. This one gets away from him and goes up over the head.
3 catches for Robinson today, the rookie from North Carolina State, for 52 yards. And that brings up 4th down and 8. So Brock Heward ready to launch again and try to get a first down. The Seahawks earlier in this half getting their first touchdown of the season. Heward steps up, lets it go, and the ball is caught. Beautifully done down inside the 30-yard line. A rush was coming from Chris Cooper, but Heward going again to the rookie Corin Robinson for a 13-yard gain. Robinson's good.
Yeah, he is. He's running very well, working against Torrey James right here as he comes up, snaps off this route, works back to the inside, and that's a good throw. And I'll tell you what, Brock Heward threw it, but he didn't see it caught. He ended up on his back in the dirt. Just one more guy that's taking his lumps from this pass rush of the Raiders.
So the Seahawks drive on. First down and 10 with 8:55 to go. Heward fires again, and this time he's a little off target and is quickly knocked down as he releases the ball. Chris Cooper really getting pressure on the quarterback all day long. Number 75, rookie from Nebraska, Omaha.
Watch as this pressure comes right up the middle. Cooper comes up. Heward, and I'll tell you that, and then Sean Alexander gets pushed right back on top of him. Right there, the quarterback feels it. He sees it coming. He knows he's going to get a shot. He's got to stand in there. But I'm telling you what, a couple of those, and you're ready to go over and sit down next to the other 2 quarterbacks that the Raiders have put on the bench.
They certainly have put a couple on the bench. I mean, it's amazing Hasselbeck lasted as long as he did. The duress he was under. Now Heward comes over as a timeout on the field with 8:41 left to play. Brock Heward brings the Seahawks out of the huddle. A second-year player from Washington sets them up 2nd down and 10. Comes the rush. He screens it off beautifully to Sean Alexander. Look at the block, and Alexander rocketing inside the 10, inside the 5. As Chris Gray, the right guard, had a knockdown block, and that sprung Sean Alexander for the 24-yard pass play gain.
And they have thrown a couple of screens today, and it looks to me like they should throw more of them because that's the one way they can get to slow down this pass rush of the Oakland Raiders. And you were right, Don. Chris Gray got out and pulled on the screen perfectly. Allowed Alexander to get down inside the 5, but they've got to find different ways to keep the pass rush off their quarterbacks, or they're going to have a long season. It's going to go a lot like today has gone.
1st and goal. They need to build something, though. They need to get in the end zone. Here is Heward, takes a look, makes a throw, and it's almost intercepted by the middle backer, Greg Beaker. This is a game that's really, Steve, a little bit of payback for the Raiders. The last time they met Seattle was at Husky Stadium last December, and in a driving rain, the Seahawks upset the Raiders 27-24. Now another Raiders down, and this is Trace Armstrong.
Trace Armstrong shaking up on the play for the Raiders.
The outstanding pass rusher who's in his first year as a Raider, in his 13th year from Florida in the NFL.
And that'll certainly put a damper on the pass rush if Trace Armstrong is seriously hurt.
Well, they lost a tremendous player last week when Barrett Robbins, their best offensive lineman, their center, went out for the season late in the game suffering an ACL tear against the Dolphins. He's going to undergo surgery.
Well, it's the offensive line and defensive line that set this Raider team up for the success that they've had. Offensive line starts with Barrett Robbins. They also have Steve Wisniewski. They've got Mo Collins, who also was injured slightly today. Lincoln Kennedy, Barry Sims. These guys are good up front, and it flips over on the same thing as the defensive side. Trace Armstrong is a pass rusher who has really put the pressure on today. They've double-teamed him the entire day, and he's still gotten pressure.
But this a winning coach's worst nightmare, a top player going off with an injury in a game that's totally out of hand.
That's exactly right. It's totally out of hand, and this is what happened a moment ago. You saw Heward try and get rid of the football, and it was almost intercepted as Beaker comes out and just can't get his hand on it. You have no time to react. It's just the sheer luck of the draw. If you can get your hand on it and tip it to yourself, you can play, or you can intercept it, but it didn't happen on that play.
2nd down and goal from the 2. Heward, the Alexander, and the Raiders give him nothing. In fact, could have lost a yard on the play.
Sean Alexander with the
Tony Bryant coming off a block, and so was linebacker Travian Smith to make the stop. 3rd and goal.
Here's the two quarterbacks as they commiserate over a bad day, and you can see there's the results. You got two guys sitting on the bench. They got sacked 7 times. They got hit 20 times, and both those guys are injured and out. You want to talk about a bad day at the office? Those two guys just shared one.
Right now, 3rd down coming up, 3rd and goal from the 3. Heward takes a look, throws a fade pattern. Jackson can't get to it. And that brings up 4th down. He was going to Darrell Jackson, the 2nd-year receiver from Florida, number 82, who had such a terrific rookie season with 53 catches. And the guy covering him, number 20, was Torrey James, who's getting a lot of playing time. Raiders off next week, and then a series of really tough games coming up for the Seahawks, including one at home against Jacksonville, who will have some payback on their mind, as the Seahawks went down to Jacksonville last year and upset the Jaguars.
Played very well in that game a year ago.
And on October 14th, Denver is coming up. Heward throws. He's got an open guy. Touchdown to Christian Fourier. And so, Brock Heward looking good late in the game with now 6:53 to go. The Seahawks have their 2nd touchdown of this day. In truth, their 2nd touchdown of this season.
That's exactly right. And this is great as a left-handed quarterback. Defenses aren't used to having a guy roll out to their right, but it's the natural way for a left-hander to do it. Christian Fourier pulls it in the back of the end zone.
Guy gives you a top effort every down. Christian Fourier out of Colorado. And now the point after try, as Ryan Lindell is ready to try it. Snap and set down are good. The kick is on the way, and it's through. And it is now a 38-14 game. And so the Seahawks will be kicking off when we come back to Oakland. Trace Armstrong, the pass rusher extraordinaire, a very important part of the Raiders' championship plans, going off with an injured right knee. A first-year Raider after a 16.5 sack season with the Dolphins last year. Here's the kickoff hit downfield. David Dunn at the 9-yard line. Dunn, this guy, I'll tell you one thing, this former Harvard captain, Isaiah Kashavinsky, he is a wrecking ball on special teams, 55. Raiders rolling, 38-14. With a run they go, and a straight ahead carry, and out to the 33-yard line is Randy Jordan. Gain of 5 yards on the play, but certainly a damper, Steve, on a winning day with a guy like Trace Armstrong. We don't know yet how badly he's hurt.
Well, we've spoken about the defensive line and the pass rush they got, and offensively, you look at the guys up front, and they have really gotten it done. They had their worries about Barrett Robbins, their starting center, being down, but with Wisniewski and Mo Collins and Lincoln Kennedy stepping in, they have really gotten the job done today. Adam Trues played admirably up in the middle, and that's where it all started offensively for the Raiders. Those guys up front got it done.
Yeah, he really stepped in. Adam threw in for the injured Barrett Robbins, and they really haven't lost a beat. But the turnovers were enormous. Those first half turnovers by Rodgers, then Alexander, that led to 10 Raider points.
Well, you compare the two offenses. You know, Matt Hasselbeck was on his back all day, and Rich Gannon, I don't even think that his jersey's dirty. And you think Steve Wisniewski in his 13th year, he was thinking about hanging him up. And as back now for his third, he came back for Al Davis and the organization, giving him one final year, and the organization was very happy to have him, obviously.
Oh, yeah, he's a stalwart left guard. Here's a throw downfield and a catch made. Well-thrown ball by Tuya Sissoko, the rookie. And Jerry Porter, a second-year receiver, is ahead for a 14-yard gain for the Raiders and a first down.
And even Tuya Sissoko's loving that offensive line working as Jerry Porter gets open and they throw a little stop route. But you know, we were talking about Steve Wisniewski a moment ago. He was ready to retire. He says, I'll be pretty happy to hang him up. But, you know, he says the Raiders are kind of like the mafia. You can't leave until they tell you it's okay to go. Yeah. He wanted to hang him up, and they said, no, you're not out. Once you're family, you're family. You can't leave.
In his 13th year, he's been a Pro Bowler. Steve Wisniewski, Tuya Sissoko, a very poised quarterback. And the handoff goes straight ahead. Not much going on there. And knockdown's back at the 45-yard line by Lamar King.
And as good as the guys in the black have been on the offensive line, these guys have been absolutely hammered today. As the offensive line of the Seahawks, they faced a pass rush today that I think few teams in the NFL can muster. I mean, they were absolutely awash in black jerseys. They were sending extra people, and when they didn't, the guys that were in there were beating double teams to get to the quarterback.
They really came. Raiders teeing off all day long. Coming off a very disappointing loss. Tuya Sissoko with a great fake, firing on the run beautifully, and he gets the ball downfield, close to the 42-yard line, an 11-yard gain to James Jett. Tackled by Reggie Tung. Look at the quarterback.
Exactly. Great throw right there. Tuya Sissoko throwing it right on James Jett. Reggie Tung making a tackle. You see here a little frustration on the throw down, but James Jett is a veteran guy, former Olympic athlete. He is fast, and I think they activated him today because they thought perhaps that given the thinness in the secondary of the Seahawks that they would need him to stretch the defense. Well, it was not necessary today. I mean, they could have played left-handed today and won.
Yeah, the Raiders really working on that young cornerback throughout the day. The Seahawks hope to have Sean Springs back at starting at cornerback. A tremendous player. Has been out with a hamstring all season so far.
And for the Seahawks, they ended up last year, they had a terrible run defense. So they went out and they got some defenders in Kirkland and Eaton and Randall right in the middle of the defense to shore that up. Well, that's great, but then all of a sudden they have both starting corners go down early in the year, and they're playing with two backups and a rookie. at the cornerback position, all of a sudden, all that run defense goes out the window, and the Raiders come in and throw it all over the park and beat them.
Being a rookie at corner, I mean, you're out in the island so alone. With veteran speed coming at you. Here is a give to Porter as he turns it upfield and ducks down to the 36-yard line. Tuiasosopo throwing well. He's just put the ball up 3 times. He's hit all 3 for 34 yards. 6-yard gain on that play. From our King on the tackle.
Well, as good as Tuiasosopo's playing, there's no quarterback controversy in Oakland.
Now the clock winds down to 2 minutes to go here at Oakland. The Raiders with a commanding 38-14 lead. Back in Oakland, the Raiders continue to command the game. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. The time is now, though, for the Raiders. They have 7 starters, 30 or older, some of them way over 30. That window of opportunity for a championship with this team may be closing.
That's right, and when Trace Armstrong, one of your key pass rushers, goes down, you can't afford to lose too many guys like that in a team of this, in the game today. You've got to make sure you stay healthy, especially in a game you've already won.
With the Raiders in position now to go 2-1, coming back from a disappointing loss a week ago. Here's a throw downfield. Wow, I don't know, was Tongue there early? Apparently not. Another foul call.
I think it was a good play, Don.
Tuiasosopo, though, he's accurate with throwing the ball.
He's throwing it very well. They're rolling him out more than they do the others. Rich Gannon, that is. Now they're going to be forced to punt with 1:15 left in the 4th.
A lot of people, as you know, were surprised when the Raiders drafted Tuiasosopo that high in the 2nd round.
Okay.
There is Shane Leckler. They got not only good punters, but big punters. All the kickers big. Shane Leckler, 6'2", 225 from Texas A&M. Janikowski, the place kicker, is 255. They're better to kick 60-yard field goals with a big leg.
Now, Leckler in his 2nd year has already learned a valuable lesson. You take the delay of penalty and get an extra 5 yards on your punt.
Raiders might be the oldest team in the NFL. They're also the tallest team with an average height of almost 6'3".
Oakland, penalties declined. 4th down.
Raiders have always believed in size, and a lot of the great Raider teams really built behind huge offensive linemen.
There's no question. I mean, Mo Collins came out with an injury earlier today, and they replaced him with Darrell Ashmore, who's 6'7", 310 pounds. I mean, that'll give you an idea of the size these guys have.
Leckler, a very well-executed kick as he booms it high. Well, it does carry in, though, to the end zone for a touchback. And the Seahawks down 38-14 with just 1:05 to play. Will go on offense, 1st down and 10. Last year, the Raiders really looked like they were going to be the team heading to the Super Bowl with that great regular season record. And then they fell to Baltimore. And let's find out about the rest of the league as we go back to New York and Jim Nantz. Jim?
All right, Don, it's gone final at Jacksonville. Mark Brunell was knocked out in the 1st half with a concussion. Jonathan Quinn replaced him into the game, trying to drive him to the victory. Dalen McCutcheon picks him up, runs it back to ice it for the Brownies. The son of Lawrence McCutcheon wins it for the Browns. They're 2-1, Don.
Wow. How about that game next week? We'll be in Cleveland, 3-0 San Diego against 2-1 Cleveland. Stamping up, here is a throw downfield, and that rifle arm of Brock Hewitt is a bit long for Bobby Ingram. Good for the league, though, when the lowly rise up.
Oh, that's exactly right. I think the league likes that. I mean, there's no question that's what they shoot for. They would love to have a league where everybody's 8-8, you know, and everybody's got a shot in that final weekend. Of course, the fans at home want their team to be the only team that's 16-0, and everybody else can be 8-8.
Thanks to our CBS statistician, Bill George, and to our spotters, Charlton Curry and Ben Brinkman. As with not much time left, a minute to go, Brock Hewitt stands in, eludes the rush. This guy's got a big-time rifle. Steve, you've watched a lot of quarterbacks come into the league, and a lot of players at every position, but quarterback, it's really hard to be good early. Maybe the one guy who was pretty much sensational right away was Dan Marino. Took his team to the Super Bowl, although Joe Montana, the 1st year he started for the 49ers after sitting on the bench a couple years, he won a Super Bowl and was the Super Bowl MVP.
That's exactly right, and it's just so difficult to do. You know, Matt Hasselbeck is going to struggle. I mean, Rich Gannon was well into his 30s before he actually was a quality starter, so it takes time as a quarterback.
Stewart takes a look, heads for the sideline, and does good work. Tiptoes the sideline. Rodney Peete is another Raider quarterback, the veteran from Southern California. His brother Skip Peete is a Raider running back coach.
Yeah, it's good to have a quarterback. Now, they just released him about a month ago at the end of training camp. And if you're a veteran quarterback, you know, they'll bring you back. And you don't need 3 weeks to get ready to play. Rodney Pete's a guy in 3 or 4 days. He could be ready to play and help you offensively. So when Bobby Hoying went down with a little elbow sprain during the week, you've got a guy like Rodney Peete you can come in, give a couple of practice to, and feels good that he can come in and be serviceable in your offense.
Great football family. His dad, Willie Peete, a terrific guy, was a longtime NFL assistant coach. Got another Raider down now. The Raiders losing troops here late in the game. It's another leg, it looks like.
We really don't know who this is. We didn't stay down. We didn't see who it was. There it is. It's Rod Coleman.
Rod looks like he's doing okay. It's good to see. But not that long ago, the pass rusher Trace Armstrong went off on the cart, unable to walk really because of an injury to his right knee. The Raiders still coming hard.
A little too hard.
Chris Cooper, I tell you, he's made his presence felt, though, number 75.
Seen significant action today and played very well. Played very well.
Encroachment, 75, defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
So the encroachment on Cooper, who left early, brings the ball out to the 36-yard line, and there the Seahawks have it. First down and 5. And talk about a strong arm of Brock Hewer. He's going to be showing it off here before long. Shooting deep, trying to get another one. He gets it underneath. And Corin Robinson having a terrific day and showing the reason he was drafted so high. That's his 5th catch of the day. That one for 12 yards. Now he has 5 catches. For 77 yards, Corin Robinson. I'm sure that here, Steve, you got John Gruden wondering about how many guys he lost today.
They're thinking about how this is going to affect them next week. Now, forget about all the positives you can take out. They want to know who they're going to have to line up next week.
Yeah, they get the bye week, and they do get some time to heal up. And here is Darrell Jackson coming off the flank as we are down to 30 seconds to play. Mike Holmgren and his Seahawks, they shocked the Raiders last season in December when the Raiders were rolling to the playoffs in a driving rain at Husky Stadium. John Gruden and his guys went up there and got beat 27-24.
John Gruden can't be too displeased with the way his club played today. My goodness, they came out smoking from the word go and didn't look back.
And another guy, Steve, who had a terrific day was for the Seahawks, Darrell Jackson. Here is a swing pass now as Alexander works the middle of the field and gets ahead for a first down. Down to the 30-yard line, but Gerald Jackson, the second-year receiver, caught 5 for 125 yards today for Seattle.
A lot of yards here in the 4th quarter have come, but you know they got to take some positives out of this. That's the nature of the NFL, and they'll be looking for it. There's a guy that doesn't have to look far to find some positives today. 2 touchdowns for Jerry Rice, his first and second as a Raider. And there's Ricky Waters, who is going to have to search far and wide for a silver lining today.
Ricky going out with a bruised shoulder in the first half. Downfield throw. And did they? No, they're waving it off. They ruled his feet were, Bobby Ingram's feet were on the white line, out of bounds.
Trying to talk him into it.
He's working it.
Not going to have it. He hates that as an official. It's always like he's smiling, officials smiling. They've always got an answer, no matter what you tell them.
It was the field judge, Al Jury, who made the call. He was not to be dissuaded. No catch.
Believe me, they were trying.
Let's take another look now. It's very close, though, to a touchdown.
It's a great play on the ball by Ingram. And Torrey James going up for it. 1 foot.
Yeah, the other one's out.
The other one's out.
Well, look at Al Jury. He's right there. That's
watching
the main position they get. I'll tell you, here's an interesting stat, Steve. Oakland has 344 yards total offense, and Seattle has
344 yards.
Not much for numbers other than the bottom line.
That's exactly right.
Oakland 38, Seattle 14. Oh, they're going to review. I think it was pretty clear the 1 foot. Of course, in college football,
Yeah.
1 foot in is a touch, but not here.
He goes up, makes a play, and that's balls goes. Ingram comes down with his foot. Now does his knee come down? No way. I don't think so. He's on the line. That's a good call by the official. He's right there. He's great position. He's looking right at it. You know, you got to tip your hat. He's got a lot of control.
Was the receiver did not gain possession of the ball until he was out of bounds. There's not enough visual evidence to overrule that call. Play stands as called.
So they felt he bobbled it. It wasn't that he was out of bounds. It's that he bobbled it and never had possession of it before he did come down out of bounds. So, be that as it may.
So now the ball at the 30-yard line with, 14 seconds to go. And Brock Heward will be gunning for the end zone. Here comes the rush. Heward dumps it over the middle, and the tackler is right there. Chris Cooper makes the knockdown on Sean Alexander. And that will do it in Oakland, California, on a day when the Raiders dominated, winning 38-14. Raiders go to 2-1, and the Seahawks are now 1-2. Now for Steve Tasker, I'm Don Crickey saying so long from Network Associates Coliseum, where the final score is Oakland 38, Seattle 14.